here.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I think they increased the population. It was a fat
They had a lot
queue
of
at
sex.
What happened to
Sex.
bring the Mustang?
It was 41
Bit of
queue
a
at the
bus now,
airport.
so.
Or tell them no custom vehicles, man. That includes bikes and cop cars. No?
Okay.
I mean, there's a reason, man. It's gonna be a lot of people there.
Yeah, we can impound him once we
Just
get
like,
there.
just impound him to get there.
Oh yeah. Well, we can ask them to put them away, and if they
This guy's
refuse, then we totally can impound. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
It's like a field trip.
Yeah, I feel like I'm back in
Going on a
elementary
trip
school.
in
Oh,
our
it's
favorite
just
road.
Let's
go round and round, round the sky.
Where did that just start? Chris. They go, they were going on a field trip because the LSPD is showing up in
Make
a
sure
fucking
you tell
bus.
the boys to tell them to get the fucking.
And
bikes out of
everyone
the way.
goes, we're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship.
You're right.
The entrance to right here.
Right.
Fucking hell, there's loads of people.
And then wait till you get in there.
Should be okay because it's just a couple of vehicles.
Well,
LSPD, motherfucker.
I still don't have a face. I still don't have a face.
LSPD in the cut, motherfucker.
Hey, Bishop.
Yeah, who's got warrants? Who's
Swag,
got
Oh,
warrants?
put the weed away, put the weed away. Oh,
The fuzz.
damn, it smells like a barbecue in here now.
Nah, no.
It smells like bacon, man. It smells like bacon.
Hey, baby, how you doing, baby? Let me give you a hug, baby. You're all under arrest.
Yeah, that's killer.
Roasted.
Mama. Oh, Jesus, I forgot to give a hug to everybody here. It's gonna take me a while, baby.
Hey, Officer Brown.
Can I use this
Kev, I'm good. Did you make sure to deposit in my pockets what I needed? Thanks.
Hey, what's up,
Before you're gonna do it.
So Amber.
All right.
Do you mind standing?
Chilling, chilling.
Just bring it.
I'm tired.
My cup.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, good.
Jay,
Goddamn it.
Oh, shut up. Hello.
Oh. All right.
I'll give you 20 to stop.
All right, guys. So right now we're gonna go ahead and disable the phone script, so everybody doesn't start
Say that
receiving any calls. This is an OOC
yeah, I do.
meeting,
I see.
so nobody has to be, in character or anything like that. This is all discussions amongst one another. So yeah. Also, as soon as we start the meeting, we are going to be looking at the Discordian. Oh, not the Discordian, sorry, at the TeamSpeak. If we do see your bubble light up without us calling you, we are going to kick you. We're not going to give you a warning or anything like that. We're going to try and do this as smooth as best as possible without interrupting anyone and being respectful of everybody's time. So please, none of that stupid fart noises. You will be kicked and possibly get a ban. And if you do need to say something or whatever the case may be, just flex your B muscle, put your hand up, and we'll be able to call on you. All right?
Hey, Lenny, step back.
Give us a second to see if we're gonna start anytime soon. Every staff is here that needs to be here, or
I'm in. I'm here.
everybody's here? Okay.
Is this everyone? Fuck it.
All right. If you hear noise or voices around you, you want to go ahead and click your escape muscle, go to the audio, and make sure you turn off S effect, I think it is. Yeah, S effect volume off, and you won't be able to hear any background noises, all right? Also, we all want to be in shout if you are going to say something or whatever the case may be. All right, so let's go ahead and start this meeting just within the lights, I guess you can say, in the light mode. I want to go ahead and just put a spotlight of appreciation on Miss Lola and Harley for the wonderful EMS work that they've been doing around the city. It's honestly truly beautiful. You guys are always in character. You guys are always doing your job, and it's greatly appreciated. It does not go unnoticed. Thank you so much.
I can't
Hell
wait to hear the
yeah.
clap.
That's my fucking girl.
Very well done.
Yeah, babe.
With that being said, let's go ahead and touch on the topic at hand. It's kind of like an elephant in the room, and everybody, you know, it's been going around the server. If you don't know, well, you're about to find out. Pretty much the ban of the entire SOS MC group. What I have to say as an owner about it and as the staff is we're not sitting here bashing these boys at all. Their RP was amazing. It was intense. Every single one of them brought something different to the table, even with their cousins, which was the cop characters and things of that nature. But the staff and I decided that for our community and for the city right now, that we are not at the level of RP that they want to be in. I feel like that type of RP for the community specifically is not where we want to head towards. Is it going to be something in the future? I don't know, to be honest. But at this specific point, I don't think that that type of RP overall is what we're looking for. We want a community where all of our new players are welcome, and our new players are kind of like priority just because of the fact that we were all once new players, right? We all came from a root of nothingness, and to be greeted with that type of RP in any sense of like in any way, like for example with the trucking job or just walking down the street or whatever the case may be, I think it puts a sense of fear into new players that then later on they kind of do not want to come back, or that they feel like it's stressful going into a city where they have to watch their backs when that shouldn't be the case, right? Other than that, if you have any questions when it comes to that specific thing, you're more than welcome to say anything. Looking around the room.
If you want to answer
I
up,
do
just put your hands
have
up in the
a
air.
quick question back here.
Right behind you, boss man.
Right behind me? Where?
Right here. To your right.
To my right?
Somebody's
Okay, go ahead.
pointing. Yeah, so I was just wondering what exactly happened with them, like that got them banned.
So there wasn't something that exactly, there's not one set thing that exactly happened, right? The one thing is that, I don't know if you saw the clip specifically, when you start taking certain situations and disrespecting people, OOC, or disrespecting somebody, or, you know, for example, I don't know if you saw the clip specifically, somebody was called a bitch outside of the RP scenario. Had nothing to do, like this person did nothing to the group or any of that nature. And to sit up on top of wherever it was that they were specifically and tell everybody that, you know, this is our city and if you can get it too. And if, you know, we'll find shit, just stuff like that and spitting at the player. It was more of a personal thing with this person rather than something that was taken in RP. And again, for 30 people or however much people that were there to see this, it's not where we want to go. That type of RP right now for this specific community is not where I want to go towards. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everybody here, whether you have an actual girlfriend playing in the server with you or not, you know, certain things like calling female bitches and things of that nature is something that we're also going to take into consideration, specifically for the guys. In my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion, calling a girl a bitch, it can also be derogatory. I think it's the word, and it can hurt somebody. Derogatory, yeah, and it can hurt somebody's feelings. You might not see it that way, but it's almost calling somebody the N-word if you really think about it. So that is something that we want to really, as guys, tone it down. There's other ways to insult a female that doesn't have to be that B word. Or if you do have a problem with a female, you can take it up in RP in a way that you don't have to call a female that. Because let's say you're playing with your girlfriend, your fiance, or somebody in the server, and somebody decided that you can tell OOC specifically that they're taking it to that place, how would you feel? You'll feel upset, and then a whole big drama and a whole big issue would happen outside of that, right? Anybody has any other question when it pertains to that specifically? Guy over there with the red.
In the back.
It's not about that specifically. I'll just wait until it comes up on topic. We got a question right here to my left.
Hmm.
Sir with the
I'm
black
sorry?
shirt.
Yeah, I'm pertaining about the calling the females the B word. I mean, the B word's actually less disrespectful as the see you next Tuesday word. So, I mean, if you want to take that into consideration, you take that other word into consideration too then.
That was taken into consideration today, actually, because I permabanned someone for saying that.
Oh, okay.
Anybody
I
else?
had a question.
Yeah.
Oh, where?
Please, let's
right
use the
in
B
front of
muscle
you.
and just put it up. But go ahead. Emily, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For that instance, if it's like a girl talking to another girl and it's like a playful, you know, like obviously banter type thing towards them, is that like under the same rules or?
I mean, you girls know that when you guys, I guess, calling each other that word, like, I mean, we don't want to sit here and be double standard about it, but
Right.
as a community, I think when two girls say it to each other, whether it's, you know, playful or not, I think, I mean, I feel like you guys should be okay to do it. I would open it up to the floor and see what other people say.
Yeah.
But for me, I think that's fine as long as it follows RP, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are getting misinterpreted what you're trying to say. So I think when it comes to RP, you can say it, like, but if it affects them OOC,
Right.
like, I wouldn't personally, if I was a woman, I wouldn't be on. Like, it's just derogatory and it's malicious. It downgrades people in my eyes. I don't know if anyone else agrees with that.
Can I say something, boss man?
Yeah, go right ahead.
So I just wanted to say, because I know earlier in the Discordian there was a little bit of back and forth, and so I was telling the staff this. I don't know if everybody could hear me. I was telling the staff this. So me personally, as Storm and as my out of character self, don't really like that word along with many others. So I personally would have a problem with it no matter what. But I don't think, and this is just me, that we, you know, have our personal things and we don't have to impose that on anybody else. However, with that word in particular, I myself do not see how that calling a female that or calling each other that or whatever the case is being used is any different than using the N word or the R word. So if we're saying that those are not okay, I don't see why this one is okay. It's something that we've now as female adapted because we're almost trying to own it. Like, you know what, you're gonna call me that anyway, I might as well call myself that. But I personally think there's so many other creative ways that we could, like, blitch blatch, or we could be like, oh yeah, whatever. Just like you do in, you know what I mean, in real life. You don't go around and just kind of like call anybody whatever you want. So to me, RP is not an excuse to be a jerk or to do things that you wouldn't necessarily deem okay in real life. It's an excuse, if anything, to just be even more creative and think of new ways to say whatever you want to say in a funny, quirky way, or whatever the case is, because then, one, it helps you to stay in character because you're thinking about it as a character, and two, it helps you and the other person to never take anything too close to home or too OOC. At the end of the day, I feel that way. I don't think that it's something that I necessarily want to impose on anybody, but I told this to the staff. That's my personal opinion, and we wanted it to be more of like an open floor. So we do appreciate all of your feedback. So this is the time to say what you feel, because I just don't think that it's a word that makes any sense when we are very all completely capable of saying other things that could be still a part of an argument without using that specific way of talking to one another.
Go ahead, guy in the black.
It's not an actual question, but we have a friend that flies in, and she's a lawyer, and she literally answers the phone saying her name. She says "bitch attorney," so I don't know how this would affect that, or y'all could talk to her about it, or because she's not here right now. So
So I mean, you have to kind of like use your best judgment. What I mean by the use of the bitch word specifically is when you know that you're going outside of RP. You know what I'm saying? Where you're
Yeah.
purposely trying to hurt somebody's feelings. I feel like, we're all grown adults here, and it shouldn't get to a point where you're trying to hurt somebody's feelings or OOC. You know what I mean? Now, um, that's the thing, because if we're in a heated situation as our characters, and you want to go and you have a problem with a certain females, as adults and as a community, there's seriously no other words or any other way you can tell a female like fuck off or something like that. You could just say fuck off. You know what I mean? Lenny?
Yeah, so, I was just trying to point out that, there's a difference in when people are trying to antagonize somebody versus going through RP motions. So when you're trying to use the word bitch, or that, I guess, the female answers the phone with that name or term, is it antagonizing somebody, OOC? Maybe not, but there's been situations where even through death, where I've been killed, in RP, I'm not supposed to be able to talk, and what you do is those other players will basically antagonize you with, "Oh, that's right. You better know your place. Don't talk. You bitch or whatever, this and that," and just it kind of just displays, like it's almost like people just trying to play Call of Duty and teabag each other or something. I don't know. It's just not really that fun.
Yeah.
The gentleman over here wanted a question after that.
Man, say something, JT.
Yeah, sure, Bob. And then the guy in the green over there.
Alright, perfect.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, myself, Fabi, and Mag has talked about this earlier today, and it is with regards to the females in the server. Now, I know I'm a guy. Abby was actually supposed to talk, but I'm not talking her instead. It's fine. But with regards to tying in with people being called bitches and all of that, I just want to say to all the females, I'm not saying, I don't know what RP you guys are doing and all of that. I just want to say, be careful with the type of RP you do with certain guys. I mean, it's no secret that women are the fewer in the server, and you guys all know about everybody here is gamers and how that they are and act. And if you're gonna be RPing in a specific way, it opens doors out of character. So just keep that in mind as well. Like, we have rules against the server, against sexual RP and all of that, but that's not what I'm saying it is. But just keep that in mind for what situations you get yourself in within RP, because a lot of these guys, and I'm not singling out anyone, I don't know who it is, I haven't heard of a situation, but they'll take it out of character. So yeah, just keep that in mind, please.
And also, you also want to take into consideration, again, I don't ever want to limit anybody's RP. Like, I hate putting so many rules where people now feel like, oh shit, I can't do this, I can't do that. For example, something that Zeus says, fuck bitches, get money. I mean, that's a saying. I'm not directly saying it to a group of girls in front of me, or I'm not directly saying it to a girl right in front of me. It's just up in the air, a phrase. Like, I mean, as girls that are right here, right now, if Zeus was to be walking down the street and he's talking to a guy and he's like, fuck bitches, get money, is that something that you're going to take a certain way? Or do you having a direct conversation with somebody and you're potentially calling this person a bitch because of the type of RP that's going on? You know what I mean? Habo?
Just in response to what that guy said, I think it's less about women choosing a path of RP and more about the men controlling themselves. And I personally don't appreciate you trying to limit women because men think they can run how they want to. A girl playing a sexual entity in here does not welcome you to her DMs at all. And trying to shift the blame onto women for that is wrong, and I'm not going to allow it. So I'm just going to stand up for the girls. You take whatever path you want. If the guys can't control themselves, that's on them.
If I can, I wasn't trying to shift the blame at all. That's not what I was trying to do. I was just giving it as a precautionary thing. I didn't say it's a girl's problem because that
men need to control themselves. End of story. It's roleplay.
That is true.
Sorry for interrupting, but I was actually the one.
Wait.
One at a time.
Go ahead, Abby.
I was actually the one that mentioned this issue because I myself have been in the RP of a strip club. I have owned that, and I have seen what women have done before, and I'm not saying that people like women here are doing it, but it does open doors. You know, morals still play a role. People still see it, and I'm not saying they are correct in doing this. Don't get it wrong, but it's still opening doors. So, unfortunately, that's how I see it as a woman. And yeah, they like being bullied is not fine, but there's also a fine line between being very sensitive and being bullied as a character, taking on your personal character, and we should know where to draw the line as adults from this is a game, this is RP, or no, this is being bullied. So he didn't say it, something that I said out of my own, he was talking on my behalf.
All right, no problem. Thank you so much, Abby.
Hey, can I add something to that?
Cool.
The guy in the green.
Okay. Oh, I love I'm down. All right. So basically, with that, I'm just, can I hit 2 topics? The one with the SOS. Guess I missed my chance to speak on that.
What
He
the hell?
dead.
He went to jail.
Oh my.
Why did somebody
get him.
jail him? Yeah, get
I'll
him.
get
Go ahead, Cora. And then we'll get him back. Is that Cora over there? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Cora. An issue I've had is the simping. Please calm down on that. Especially with the EMS. No, we're trying to do a job. Do you know how many times we have that? Oh, hey, can I get your number? Oh, you look like you have been. You have had an entire clip emptied into your chest. The last thing you should be worried about is what I be looking like in my uniform. Like y'all need to chill on that. It gets it's gotten to a point at times in situations where I have been super uncomfortable. You're following me around and stuff. It's like, bro, stop. It's not cute. It's not funny. Like, bye. Like, back the F word up.
May I, boss man, real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So one of the things, and I appreciate that you said that, Cora, that I was telling to the staff is, and in response to Abby's comment, I totally understand where you're coming from, Abby. I get that, you know, it seems like there should be lines crossed, and we totally understand. But the thing is, if we're saying blatantly that no matter what you do, no matter how aggressive you are, the N-word is not okay. No matter how, you know, stupidly you may be acting, the R word is not okay. And no matter how aggressive a scene goes, getting too aggressive with gang wars is not okay. Then no matter how a female acts, it does not give you the permission to cross that boundary as a male when there is 3 of you. And for example, I'll give you a personal thing. Everybody knows that I own the club, right? Okay, so Storm owns the club. Storm is there. Storm is putting on a show. Storm has no reason to be standing in a corner by 4 guys talking about, so when are you going to take your clothes off for me? It's not okay. It's not acceptable. And I don't see why that's necessary, because you're right, that is a video game. But if I have to deal with this in real life, I'm not about to spend 12 hours dealing with this in a video game. Because you men are not females. You don't know what it's like to go out into the world and have this dealt with on a daily basis. So it's not about pushing an agenda. It's about making sure that all females, whether you're brand new to the game or whether you've been here for a while, feel comfortable enough to walk around in the streets and be as goofy as they want, dress however they want, do what they want, as long as it's within the rules and as long as they're in character, and not have to put up with all the ridiculousness that you have to when a guy is sitting there telling you, take your clothes off for me.
It comes down to respect at the end of it. That's what I'm asking for. A little more respect. Like, yeah, I get it. I have a vagina. But guess what? It ain't here for you.
Damn.
Agreed.
Like, it's as simple as that.
Damn, boss man, can I add something?
Yeah, can you move over here, Kevin? Over here, right next to Green Guy.
And
Let Rico
remember
go
to shout,
first, and then
guys,
you go.
just in case. Remember to shout.
Go ahead,
Zeus,
Rico.
this person's going to be next after him.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry about that, you know.
No problem, go
So basically, the 2 things I just wanted to hit on, missed my chance, like I was saying with the SOS thing. Is there any chance for any of those SO members that I don't know if, you know, all of them did something wrong, but is there any chance, you know, that those that didn't do anything wrong are able to return? Like,
So, are you Rico Cruz by any chance?
yeah, I'm Rico Cruz, yeah.
Okay, so Rico, I actually took into consideration the terms for like the way that you did the Vagos, like the rules that you put up, and we took a couple of those, and I appreciate that. Also, for that specific thing, just to answer that question specifically, we had a talk with the staff specifically, and as long as these characters, we're okay with these characters. Sorry about that. As long as we're okay with these characters, and they were completely fine and they want to roleplay as something outside of SOS, I'm completely fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can
Okay.
see right now in my eyes, I have people that, take things like kids and they create accounts and follow me saying Envy piss off for pussies. You know what I'm saying? And they show
Right,
their
right.
true colors. It's like how old you gotta be to sit there on my stream right now and try to bash what we're trying to do here. If you didn't like it, man, come on, bro, move on. But you're sitting here like having no life, pretty much just fucking looking at what we're doing. Like, come on, man. Like we're all adults, and this is beyond that. Like, but yeah, just to answer your question, Rico. Sorry about that. What was your other question?
No, it's all good. I'm actually, glad that, you guys took our terms, seeing that, see what GSF is doing, like you'll see a lot more of that. The other question is, well, not really a question, the word, the B word.
Yep.
So, us GSF, we come from like bigger cities and stuff like that, and we enjoy the city. Like, I'm not going to talk, for all of GSF, that's within, the gang. Like, I'll speak on my personal behalf is, if we're in a gang war and stuff like that, some of us, will slip out the B word, like it's just natural for us, especially, role playing
Oh no.
gangbangers. Like,
So what we're saying is, don't directly
females.
saying it to a female in a derogatory way. You can say it amongst the guys. I think amongst the guys is fine, but I just feel like with the girls specifically, we have to be a little bit more restrained on how we just slip that word out there.
oh, okay.
I've got an example if you want it. So basically,
well,
earlier, sorry, Rico. Earlier today, someone had said to one of Cora's other characters, "This fucking bitch, she's a cunt."
Oh yeah, see, that's not cool.
But that
Like,
is that's derogatory. Right?
Yeah,
that's what
like-
he's trying to say. If you start saying that towards females or anyone, that's gonna fuck you
That
over a bit.
was to Emma of all my
Yeah,
characters.
and
That's
then-
like the least one.
Like, let's say, for example, I downed Rico in a gang war, and I go, "Oh yeah, look at this bitch," or whatever. That's like,
like,
that's-
I love that.
yeah. If he doesn't like it, then he can report it.
Let this at the same time stand as a fucking, green light for everybody. That if you guys notice, people talking smack in a way that's obviously offensive for the person receiving it, let us know. Get a recording, make a ticket. So,
I mean, to me, how I see it, like, I don't know if it's just me. I can't, speak for everyone else. Like, that word, I grew up with that word, and through high school, middle school, elementary, I grew up in the streets, ghettos, whatever, that doesn't make it an excuse or anything. But like,
Same.
if people find it, offensive, like, if, it irks you and stuff like that, do what you have to do, follow that ticket, but also, take a step back too. Like, if someone, comes at you, saying that word, and that it's offensive, report it. But if it's really not offensive, and it's just that it's their character, like, they'll slip that out, in a joking manner, like, pull them to the side, or, grab their, Discordian, or, just let an admin know, or, the owner, and be like, hey, could you just talk to this person? Like, I just don't want to saying that word around me, this, that, the third, like, I think that would go a long way,
Right. And we appreciate it, Rico. I agree. Is there anything else that you need to add to that?
No, we can keep this rolling.
And thank you, brother. The guy that was right here.
Yeah, this guy. What are you doing, bro?
Oh no, let me get back my seat.
It's
We
fine.
can't
yeah.
hear you, brother.
Yeah.
You're not a robot.
I sound like a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll come back to
Oh,
it.
never mind.
We'll come back
All
to it.
right. Guy in the back over there with the yellow vest.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple for all this. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, we all know, like, what using it in a derogatory way is. Like, I mean, we're pretty much all adults here, if not everybody's an adult here. So, like, I mean, like, running around with your boys and shooting somebody and calling them a bitch and something like that, that's one thing. But, like, derogatory, using it to somebody else in like that type of way. Like, I mean, everybody knows the line. Like, it ain't fucking. It's white and black. It's like not that hard to
You'd be
understand.
amazed of how many people don't know that line and cross it daily.
You'd
Yeah,
be
but
very
I
surprised.
mean,
That's just why we're having this talk right now.
if you're running into your boys and you're saying bitch or something like that, like
Yeah,
that's
obviously,
one thing. But like if you're running around chasing one of these females around and you're like, you stupid bitch, you fucking blah blah blah, like everybody
Listen,
knows
if I could make you
what's too
invisible for
much and
2
what
hours
ain't.
at Pillbox in prime time, you'd be amazed of the things that these girls get told.
Yep.
Or
Yeah,
called.
I get told about it daily, so and it's
I
like,
mean,
it's
I ain't gonna lie,
it's
like,
legit, man. It's a fact.
Like
it's happening.
I say a bunch of things, but I'll never take it to like that type of level. Like it's
I know.
not.
90%
it's not
of
rocket
the people
science.
aren't gonna take it there, but
that
10% hurts like a motherfucker.
Catching fucking names, man. Just start catching names.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nobody's
Yeah,
gonna get in
simple as
trouble
that.
for calling
Start writing,
green,
get a
yellow a
notepad
bitch
out
just
and
because they
fucking
shot each
start
other.
getting names.
Like yeah, that's all you gotta do. Like say you're at
Well-
EMS and you're in the hospital and
Okay.
somebody's doing it. All you gotta do check ID. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's the thing though.
Hey,
One by one.
At all times,
time.
M
Cora, go
doesn't
ahead.
work. M doesn't work. I don't know about anybody else, but M doesn't work all the time for me.
No,
so I
that's,
can't be
low-key
doing
true.
that.
No, sometimes,
That is
most
So,
of the time, it
and
doesn't work.
the last couple of days, when all of this stuff has been happening at Pillbox, it has not been working. So I've been having to try and keep it as in character as I can, and calling the police on the radio to come over. You know, the 2319. You know, come in for a simp sweep. Honestly.
Let's just below that if we do get video proof and we see that somebody has reported a player for this specific thing, calling a girl cunt or a bitch in a way that is very derogatory, we're going to take a 3-day ban for your first offense, and then your second offense is just a perma. Guy with the yellow jacket.
Back to what Storm said. So like I agree 100%. Back to like when I first applied, I was talking to one of the moderators, I believe, or something like that. Yeah, and I told him how I like had just gotten into RP and like I wanted to like be comfortable doing it. And then like I just got so uncomfortable to the point like where I didn't want to go back there because I've actually experienced firsthand and secondhand men disrespecting women. And like that shouldn't matter because A, it's just a game. B, it's supposed to be all in good fun and it shouldn't matter who you are or what you do or whatever. But everyone should respect themselves. And I like do believe why there's a reason why it's called whitelisted servers for serious RP. So yeah, definitely gotta check. Look out for that.
No problem, and thank you so much
Sheriff
for
guy
that.
over here.
Where?
Over here to my left.
The cone.
All right.
Traffic cone.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah.
traffic cone. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
Kevin.
traffic cone. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to talk for a second with this. Listening to the whole derogatory term, bitch, cunt, anything like that, and how Storm mentioned this is a game, and this is something that I think everyone needs to kind of take this reality check. And it may not be, but for women in this world, they deal with this every fucking day of their lives. And then when they come to a game and they deal with it in their time that they're trying to get away from the world, this is an escape for all of us. This is a place where we can go, take all of our troubles. I just got off work and this is where I'm at and this is where I want to be for the night. So seriously, everyone needs to kind of think about that too. And I'm excited that we're actually talking about this and getting this out. So I do apologize for every single one of you that have experienced that in the server, and let's hope we can move on from that. Seriously.
Him for mayor.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much.
Never a
Kevin?
sheriff.
Yeah.
No.
Can everybody hear me
And then
okay?
Emily. Yeah.
Alright, well, everybody here, I'm not sure if you know me, but in character, a lot of people know me as Kevin. I work with Zeus and Storm real closely. And I'm close friends with all of the Vixens and everything, and it's becoming a problem where I'm being approached, and I've witnessed it myself. The derogatory terms, people take it way too far. I mean, I had somebody sit in my mechanic shop yesterday for 3 hours just because of some of the remarks made to her. And, I mean, it's in your emails, boss man. I'm not going to say it out loud. but
Yeah.
it needs to stop. And following the woman around, completely repeating what you've told her already, that's bullshit.
These things are gonna be a perma, just so you know. If we do get reports of you harassing, which is you texting even through the phone in game a female numerous of times after they told you, hey, maybe not, and you still doing it, and you still following this person around, and you still doing it, it's gonna be an automatically perma. I don't like fucking pretty much telling, grown people that this is not okay. Emily?
Yeah, so just kind of going off of what Kevin said, I understand, like, sometimes, you want to make a joke and you think you're being funny, but you have to think about what you're saying. And even if it is in roleplay and you think that it's funny and, your character's having a good time, it can actually be really hurtful to the person that you're saying it to, and my character, obviously Emily, is a stripper and she's like a pretty promiscuous girl. She runs around flirting with a lot of guys and stuff, but she does not need your character following her around telling her that she's got, a fishy coochie or whatever. That's just disrespectful, and I understand you're trying to be funny and it's not like I can't take a joke, but at a certain point it's not a joke anymore. Like, you're just being rude and you just need to know the limit and stop and just don't say things like that.
So that's the thing, right? RP does not mean this is a shield for you to just open your fucking mouth because you can't do it in real life. Just being 1000% strictly honest with every single one of you. And that's part of the reason why I feel like we weren't ready for the type of RP that SOS brought here. Just because you want to put fear into people and you want to go ahead and make this like, you're the man and and I have this huge dick and I have to put fears on everybody. It just because it's RP, it doesn't make it okay. We all have fucking feelings. We are people here to be able to escape from reality, just like the traffic stop guy said. RP doesn't mean I'm a keyboard warrior. And I'll repeat it again. RP does not mean you're a keyboard warrior or you got little Twitter fingers. It means you sit here, you respect one another, and you have fun doing it. The girl behind me. Yeah, Harley, right?
No. Harley?
So, biggest thing is, like when we first, the group of us that came over, the first thing we've had cat fights, we've had this, that, and the other. The biggest thing is if a female is literally saying, "Hey, this is uncomfortable for me," or "Hey, I literally had somebody call me, see you next Tuesday," in a cat fight, and I said, "Hey, look, sweetheart, can we not with that word?" And I made a joke out of it, and they immediately took it like, "Hey, she doesn't appreciate that. Let's go ahead and change it." That's the biggest thing. You guys need to be paying attention. Like, females at Pillbox, we've told people to stop, and you don't. It has been so bad the last couple of days that's why Cora and I weren't even on duty last night, because we needed to blow off steam. We're just asking for respect, and I feel like that goes for whether I'm a female or whether I'm a male. We all
we
need
know
to
where
be
you were.
respecting each other no matter what. So if somebody tells you, "Hey, I'm uncomfortable," or "Hey, this isn't okay," or "Hey, I don't appreciate that word," or "Hey, I don't want to hear this," stop. Don't keep going. Like, this is all of our fun. Like, all of us want to be here, but I shouldn't have to see like Cora want to quit because somebody won't leave her alone.
Leave it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We go with Thielen, then we go with Amber, then Cora, and then Abby.
I think Abby was next, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just want to kind of add a comment to this. I mean, we're beating the dog dead, but it's kind of important too. In one point is that if you have a professional job, you should dress professional and not be sort of like dressing provocative. I mean, there are
No.
professions that are provocative, but if I'm having an EMS, for example, and I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody, I don't expect to see a halter top or something like that.
Well, Thielen,
I'm just mentioning it,
don't
man.
agree much just because okay. So just because I have a whole bunch of jewelry on me and I have a whole bunch of things on me that cost a lot of money doesn't mean come rob me. Just because a girl wears whatever she decides that she wants to wear doesn't mean, hey, come talk to me like shit. That is kind of like,
I agree with you totally. I don't think there's any excuse for talking down to anybody, even males. I agree totally, but I mean, you know, I'm just saying that, you know, we have kids in here that shouldn't be. I will really say that shouldn't be, that see that kind of stuff and don't know how to act. They don't have that experience.
I think what he's trying to say is when it comes to professional jobs such as police, EMS, and stuff like that, they should be dressing appropriately for the job.
But they do.
I'm just gonna say this.
If they ever don't, it's usually, and I'm sorry.
Really,
I
shorts
mean,
is a problem.
yeah, no, not only
Well,
that,
no,
but
no, no.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt anybody. I know I'm not next in queue, but if you're not allowed to walk up to somebody that's dressed with chains and baggy pants and call them an N-word, there's no reason why if you see a girl in a bikini, you're gonna sit there and call her a B-word. That's not that. There's no difference with that. That's not an excuse. I don't care what you think or what you do. It is not okay. Period.
I think my point was being missing because I agree totally with that. I'm just saying that, you know, you kind of bring on comments from people that don't have good control. You know,
Yeah.
that's all I'm trying to say is just
And you
saying
know
that.
what? I agree with that. But then at the end of the day, that's not on the girls to switch
No.
up their wardrobe. It's on the guys to then be kicked out of here. Because if you're too young to be able to handle that, then you don't deserve to be here. This is a very elite city that we all live in when we're in game, and that we spend sometimes just an equal amount as we do in our own real lives. So no.
And with that being said, maybe we do need to up the age 17 plus.
Yes, I agree.
So that's something that we're gonna consider. Abby, and then I'm gonna get to everybody. Don't worry. Just please have your finger up.
Yeah, so just to add basically on what was said between Phelan and before that, like, I think for the sake of everyone, I'm not generalizing like gender, like male and female, goes both ways. First of all, I think each of us, you check yourself. You don't open doors for yourself because, I mean, you can't go around basically pissing people off and expect them to not say anything to you. If you get what I'm saying, you can't go and, you know, try and initiate something, and then when it does happen, you have a problem with it happening. So that's the first thing. The second thing I think is then for us to go like, oh, if I haven't met this person before, you know, then greet, be polite, try to get to know them first before you do these things, because each and every person is different. I might have a thicker skin than someone else, and someone calling me bitch is not going to bother me. Someone else is going to, and that's only human. You can't choose exactly what bothers you and what does not. So get to know the person, and rather than check, you know, when you get to know them and you think, oh, I'm going to make a joke, they're going to be fine with it. You can try it then, and make sure they are comfortable enough to tell you and be like, okay, listen, I'm not exactly okay with this, and then you apologize or whatever, and you go from there. That way, you know, we don't really argue about, no, you must not do this, or you must not do this. Then it becomes each and everyone's personal preference for them, what they feel is acceptable for them, around them, and they don't have to fight with anyone, and everyone is respecting each other. Because coming into the respect thing, for example, this is kind of off topic, but it has this to do with the same thing. Like, we would go around and people will greet Bob, for example, and they ignore me flat, even if I greet 3 or 4 times, meaning you don't respect that person. To greet, be polite, get to know them, and know what is okay for them or not. So we need to check that. I need to check, like I said, our own actions. Don't initiate something if you're not ready to take what's going to come from it. And then if something does happen, yeah, you say, I don't like this, and the other person must respect that and step back and apologize. If they're fine with it, I mean, that's their personal preference.
All right, thank you, Abby. This guy right here with the LSPD.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I just think
And
that
then
a
we'll go
lot of
back here.
people get upset about things OOC that they really shouldn't be, because it's like an in-character interaction. So like for me, for example, like I've had so many people just as a cop, like their character, you know, they hate cops, so they're gonna RP like they hate cops, so they're gonna call me a pig, and they're gonna tell me fuck you, and they're gonna call me a bitch. I don't get upset by any of that, because like I know it's just them RPing as their character. But at what point do we start, like, if we're going to make a rule about saying the word, I feel like it's got to be like a universal thing, like just don't say it at all, because people are still going to like say it in in a way that's going to offend someone if it's not just like a universal thing that we can't say it at all, you know what I mean?
Right.
The line for OOC is it's a very thin line, and someone may feel that they're in a conversation where it's it's completely RP, and the other person might be on a totally different level where they think it's an OOC. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for I mean, can we just find
Nice.
another word to not call a girl a B word? Like girls, can you just not, as guys or whatever, can you just not call a girl directly a B word?
You
Can you find
blithering
other
idiot.
ways? Yeah, something like
Or
that.
do 6ix9ine and be like, "Hey, dummy," like that. That's it.
Hey, dummy.
Like,
This guy's been waiting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have.
Go ahead.
So I mean, on the topic of calling girls B words and all of that, well, and the cunt word, sorry, the C word. I don't know about anyone else, but like being from England and that, I use that word a lot. Like maybe too much for other people to realise, but I use it a lot, and I'm sure like
No, we don't.
some of these use it
I
as
do.
well. Well, I mean, I do. I know that for sure. And obviously, he was saying about how someone called someone a cunt, and I mean C word, and I don't want to be like. I don't want to use that and then get told off about it. Like, so we can still use the word, yeah. So if like me and my friends, we go like kill a different gang, and I'm like, see you later, you know, like that's
Right.
alright, isn't it?
I mean,
Just know your audience, man.
Can we
Exactly.
simplify it?
I mean,
and just
Jesus Christ.
Can it just
So
be
look,
calling
look,
a
if
female
it's
a bitch bannable? Like,
if it's among guys, and you're doing your gang thing among guys, male, you can like observe your RP and exactly what you're doing. But if you're directly saying it to a girl in
or
a
around a
derogatory
girl, or
way,
she's in the dick. Just, I don't understand. There's so many words in the world. Our vocabulary is extensive. We have all been in some way, shape, or form in school. Why is this word so hard to heart? If the N word with people, I'm from New York. The N word is thrown around like it's a piece of candy. And if we have the ability to restrain ourselves when we're in this game and it's a bannable offense, I don't understand why this can't be the same thing.
I think you need when you want to say these words in the obviously gang wars or something like that, it needs to be a time and a place for when you use it. So, for example, I think the Vargos have got a woman in their gang. So when you down her or you injure her or something, you wouldn't go up to her and go, "Oh yeah, you fucking bitch," whatever. You'd be like, "Oh shit," you say something else. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's not saying it
if,
because
if
she's
I
a
can
girl.
chime in on that.
Literally, you could just say, "Oh, I
So,
got your ass." It's not that difficult.
Yeah, just say something different.
I'm not gonna say big cities or anything, but you know, NG and stuff, we do have women, that would be coming around and stuff like that. And those women, to be honest, like I'll put this bluntly, do not care if you call her a B word, call her a C word, any of that. Like if she's banging at different gangs, Vagos, Ballers, Red and Blacks, like
So know your
whoever it
audience.
is. Yeah, like know your audience. Like if I'm just gonna put it bluntly to like everyone here. You're rolling to South Side, you start a gang war. Know what you're doing because it's gonna be fun, but there's words that are gonna be slung around, and you just gotta be prepared for that. And like how they said, know your audience at the end of the day,
Bro,
and just don't take it to heart.
all it comes down to it is if like you do say and you're in a gang war and you do say this, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like if you do say that to like a girl in a gang and you're like, that's why I got you, bitch, or some shit like that, and she's like, don't tell me that, or don't say that to me, or any female in this server is like, don't say that to me, then simple as that, you just don't say it to them no more. Like I don't know why this is like being bigger
And
than
just
what it
to-
is. If they say
yeah,
don't
and-
say it, don't say it. Simple as that.
Thank you so much for that. And not to keep on this topic because we have to move on. But go ahead, Cora.
My comment is in regards to the gentleman who's talking about the uniforms.
All right, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna say this. I just started working as EMS, and I was stupid, and I damn near went 48 hours doing it. And during that time, I started out in the cute little uniform they've got. Harley showed Cora and put it on, whatever. But the way the men were treating me and talking to me made me so uncomfortable to the point where I changed the uniform. I put on the baggy slacks. I put on the combat boots. Okay? And it was still happening. And I'm gonna be honest, it was worse after I changed. So you can't be sitting there saying, "Oh, well, you need to dress professional," because guess what? I did change the uniform, and it did not stop. You cannot sit there and blame the fact of how we're dressed. Because honestly, you put a steak in front of a dog and you tell that dog no, the dog will not take that steak. Doesn't matter how juicy or tempting it is. It all comes down to self-control and
Thank you so much,
respect.
Mona. Thank you so
My
much.
dog would take it.
All right, over here, LSPD guy.
Oh yeah, just I don't want to bring this up too much, but just the SOS thing. Some of the guys that did get banned, were they even around when the incident happened, or did you just go through and ban every member of the club?
So we take precautions here, just because of the fact that in the past we've had people that we've banned, and then their friends sit here and they try them out the city just because they're salty or whatever the case may be. So I went ahead and made the decision that we were going to ban everybody. And again, if anybody wanted to come back as something different, we were going to go ahead and let them do that, depending on what the staff felt about them.
Okay. I'm just kind of concerned about like the precedent that could set with like say another gang gets a little bit too serious for what the city likes. Is that gang going to get completely wiped as well? Because that was like a big chunk of our city. I mean, both cops and crims. That was a big chunk of people that we lost there. And I know that those guys are some solid RPers. It's just things can get a little out of hand sometimes, and that happens. But I don't know if there was a warning before that or anything like that. But I do feel like we lost a lot of good RPers that definitely could fit the mold of what we want this city to look like if they were just given the opportunity.
For sure, 1000%. And like I started my whole speech with, it was that, you know, they were amazing RPers. I'm not taking that away from them. But even as we were sitting here talking, some of them came into my chat and started harassing me. Like, you know, you could see people's intentions. If you're a man, like you should do or be in the fucking world, you'll handle certain things as men, not go into a chat and sit there being keyboard warriors.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree.
You could have
with that,
just came to my DMs like, hey, listen, I 1000% understand where you're coming from. How about we do this, we do that, we do that. I personally, again, I did what I thought was best for the city. I'm not doing what's best for me because at the end of the day, I want all you guys to feel comfortable here. I can give two shits about my RP or my character. I just want everybody to feel comfortable coming into a city and not feel like they have to watch their back every time they walk around.
Mhm.
Again, from 3 incidents, I felt like specifically their RP wasn't gonna fit here. With gangs moving on, we do have a set of rules that I'm going to read to you guys, and hopefully we can go ahead and move on to that topic as of right now. But just to answer your question specifically, I don't have a problem with any of those boys. Half of those boys were from where I'm from, which is Dominican Republic. They were Dominican, and I knew, like, I felt like they were my brothers. But at the end of the day, I can't sit here and get emotional or get attached, because at the end of the day, this is kind of like a business to everybody, and this is a place where everybody wants to chill and have fun, you know?
Could I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
So I know that those guys, like, they did kind of like ambush with the police a couple of times. We got in some pretty intense shootouts with them. I don't know about other cops, but I love stuff like that. It's super, you know, intense RP, and you really have to, you know, get involved in what's going on. And I haven't had that happen since those guys have been gone. So if any other gangs want to step your game up and come after the people.
Oh,
what
shit.
We can talk about that. We can talk about that in another discussion.
May I add one thing, boss man?
Don't worry about it, bro. It'll come.
Go ahead.
So the only thing that and to add on to what Bossman was saying in response to that, I personally had close connections with a couple of the members, and personally myself reached out to a couple of them, trying to make sure, like, before this whole thing happened, the Vixens were gonna do a special dance, just like we did a PD appreciation. We were gonna have an MC appreciation night, dressed up in things, and it was already kind of like in the works. But what we want to make sure that everybody understands is, moving forward, it was a teaching lesson for us too. How we do things as staff, how we communicate to you guys, and we appreciate all of your feedback. But what we want you to understand is, when something is done, specifically when Zeus, JT, however you want to refer to him, does something, it's because he feels that he has to remove himself from the equation in order to make a good decision for us as a community. But every single one of your feedback was considered after the fact, before the fact, during the fact. This is not something where we're saying that it was something personal, because if it was personal, they would still be amongst us. If it was RP, they might still be amongst us. But the fact of the matter that when you explain something to someone, it's the same thing that we're saying with the whole B thing. If you tell someone no, that should be logically enough for you to say, you know what, let me take a pause and simmer down. And moving forward, just like JT said, if it's something where it's like, you know what, we are making the decision that we want to be here so bad that we're willing to put that on pause, give that up, start fresh, go back to just being PD, think about it that way, work with the community, it would have been a very different conversation. And it probably, you know, I don't mean to speak for anyone on staff, but it probably still would be a different conversation. It's how things were handled that became a problem.
Right. And with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the gang conversation. So again, I took this as a page from Mr. Rico Cruz's book. Terms for like gang, I'm gonna say war or operation. So from what he said here, number one was match numbers. So what that means specifically is like, you know, if you see 3 of the purple, you grab your 3 of the purple and you go ahead and you have your little shootouts and things of that nature. We're gonna have Rico. Is that exactly what you meant specifically?
So basically, say GSF, you know, we wake up as 3 people, you know, and you have, you know, 10 people, you know, send out 3 people, you know, like let the other gang know, hey, you know, there's so many people I got, you know, match the numbers, you know, let's get it. Like, don't send, you know, more than that 3, you know, more than that 4. Like, you know, make it fair, you know, make it fun. Like that's you know how we operate in GSF.
All right. And then his second part, only in the south side. So what did you mean by that specifically?
So Southside, so how GSF is, we live in Southside. Basically, we're not going to take things, you know, to Legion, Vinewood, you know, Polito or anything, you know, unless it's agreed upon. So any, you know, wars, any, you know, gang beef or whatever is strictly in the Southside.
All right. And then I see here, this is very interesting, and I kind of really like this, is a pretty much 3-day war. When you mean that, a 3-day war, can it be extended or is it just going to be strictly 3-day? What do you think about that?
So, 3-day wars usually for us, you know, it's just, you know, best, you know, 2 out of 3. You know, we can have a quick, easy, you know, war. If you know one group, you know, wants to throw up a white flag, you know, during that second day, you can. You know, you can extend it, you know, to a 5-day war. You know, but you know, the thing is, we just don't want to drag out wars because in return, you know, it's not going to be fun, you know, for PD or one side. You know, like it's just, you know, overall to make it fun.
Yeah, so I think 3 is fine. And if later on you decide that within the rules of what we're saying right now, if you wanted to go ahead and extend it to 5, I think up to 5, I think that'd be pretty dope. And then number 4, if you don't wish to be a part of the war, then wear normal clothes. I guess don't wear the colors, right?
Yeah, basically, don't wear the colors. I mean, you can, you know, have the flag like, you know, how you see me, you know, with the flag on, the bandana. You can rock that, but you know, just don't go into, you know, a known battle area. You know, just, you know, do your own thing. You know, do trucking. You know, go fishing, whatever it is. You know, just make sure, you know, if you don't want to be a part of it, just don't try to rock your colors because you know you'll get targeted.
All right, so we're gonna go to the purple, and then we're gonna go to the guy in the LSPD. So purple.
Was you saying the 5 days? Are you saying that is a limit? Like you're setting that as the limit, or is that something we could discuss as a further on thing? Because me, and I know a lot of other people are discussing something big. So
It
is
comes
that
down to
like
the terms of the
is that like a
set of the
city or
war.
okay?
No.
Is that like a city rule? Five day max or what?
So thank you for bringing that. That's actually, we should touch on that. So pretty much the standard is going to be 3, right? But if the other party, let's say you're fighting with green, right? If green decides, all right, let's make it 5, and then you make it 5 and you still feel like, damn, there's a lot of like even more RP we can do off of this, then you go and talk to green and you're like, all right, how about we make it a little longer, 7 or whatever. If as a group you have agreed to do that and we don't see one group complaining over the other, I don't see why not.
If I may add to this too,
Yeah.
you know, eh, for gang wars, you know, purple, green, yellow, red, you know, whoever is in the gang, you know, it doesn't always have to be gun battles. You know, let's, you know, do fist fights. You know, let's do, you know, BMX, you know, shootouts. Like let's, you know, be creative. You know, show them like how much, you know, we can bring to the table with this gang stuff.
Do some races.
Yeah, races. Let's just be super creative about how we do this gang stuff. Like, one day, if we just want to run around, jump each other, go to the other hood, just fist fight it out. I think that would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I just want to touch a little bit on that with the shootouts and shit. Just, if you get shot, if you don't shoot out, if you get mag dumped, don't go back 10 minutes after and try to kill the same people, because it's just like, boring as fuck and annoying for cops, EMS, and
injuries.
Alright, guy in the LSPD?
Okay, perfect. I just had 2 more questions. I promise these are the last ones.
One, keep asking.
Do we have any plans for what's going on with Slideways now? Because I'm pretty sure Joel owned it before and he's no longer around. So I just wondered if we had any plans to maybe sell it to somebody else in the city, if anybody was discussing wanting to open up something there, or if we were going to be getting rid of that, or just what was going on with that. And then the second one was going to be, does anybody know what's going on with Judd? Like, is he on a leave of absence or anything? Because I was going to look for a transfer for BCSO, and he hasn't been around, and I don't know who to speak to go about that or anything like that.
You can speak to Bishop in character about that.
Okay, perfect.
Or Porter.
Alright,
or
is that all your
Catfish,
question?
or wait, hold up. Since we're on that, Catfish and Mundy are Mundy's the sheriff, and then Catfish is the undersheriff. So BCSO didn't die, if that's the rumor around or anything like that.
No, I just noticed that a lot of their roster got cut down, and I figured that LSPD is pretty stacked right now, so I could transfer
LSPD
over.
apps are also closed right now, but we can talk about that shit in character.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no problem. I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Cora?
Sorry. With the whole like gang wars and things like that, I come from Conan Exiles, and a lot of servers, like, there is PvP and stuff like that, but I find when there's like certain rules to it, like I know some servers have it, if you have a beef with another clan, it's kind of like a champion versus champion type of deal. Like, you'd either go in one-on-one, or like a battle royale, like mosh pit type deal, last one out, or versus type of deal. Like, something like that would be cool. Like an event that people can come to, like other, like say Clan A is having beef with Clan C, so they duke it out in the arena, and then Clan D or whatever the heck can come in and watch, or whatever. Make it an event for everyone to watch and enjoy. If that could be a possibility, I don't know. Like races, boxing matches, underground fighting, stuff like that.
I think it's just up to anyone to come up with the idea, and we can help them out. Just like with the blood run tonight. Like, just come to us with ideas. Pop the ticket open. Yo, I would like to do this for the, community. I would like to organize this event. Like, we can help you out in so many ways with stuff. Like, but it just, it's up to us to be creative, especially if we're not taking the road of, super serious RP.
Purple?
Yeah, just on that, it's kind of hard. That's kind of a hard thing to bring up, because say if I'm rolling around and see, let's say, the greens, I can't really just be like, yo, let's go to the tunnel and have a little scrap one-on-one. Like, it's a gang for a reason. I'm gonna shoot him if I see him, if we have a war, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to sort of have like certain people go down to do certain things with other clan like gangs. I mean, not clan members, I don't know why I said that, but you sort of see what I'm getting
the
at.
way that can negate that is you get their team's fucking number, and you discuss terms for that and say, look, we're going to be doing this at this day, this day.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but if I'm like, in real life, if I see a gang member and he's up, I'm not gonna just be like, yo, let's go sort it out over here. I'm gonna lever him, aren't I?
You're not going to shoot him. That's the thing.
But within RP, you also have to say something, because then it's not RP, it's GTA Online, right?
Yeah, of course. That's why we would be discussing with each gang what the terms are. That's why we have the terms in place.
No, yeah, for sure. But we're not telling you not to do that. What we're telling you is
be creative.
Be creative. Like, don't let it be just about, I'm gonna see you on the street and I'm gonna clap you. Like, there's other ways of dealing with
it. Yeah.
LSPD guy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say about, like, obviously the shooting on sight sort of situation, and like whether we're gonna have a limit to the gangs, because eventually we're just gonna have gangs upon gangs, and they're all just gonna take every single color, and the next thing you know, everyone's just going to be targeted and shot on sight just for wearing, you know, whatever color, red, blue, green, purple, orange. I just wondered if we could have like a gang limit.
So as of right now, because we see gangs coming up specifically, I'm not aware of many of them so far. Um, and gangs in group is kind of really hard to limit. It's just the way they go about certain things. But I 1000% understand where you're coming from. Maybe once we see it getting a little bit too overwhelming, then we can touch upon that topic. Because right now, I do see a couple of groups forming, but I don't see it being an issue yet.
There's a lot more
Yeah, it's just
alliances than you
because
think.
I know from our
So
perspective, we've told people to change their outfits as they might get targeted and stuff, and it's just one of those, you know, people want to come in, enjoy, wear what they want to wear, and eventually all the colors will get taken, was my thing.
If I can interject, I think the
Go ahead.
best way to know if any, groups that, are starting up or, gangs, I say, gang leaders, we should meet up, with Zeus, after this, and we can potentially, make Zeus, if you want to, make a channel you dedicated, for gang members, like, to keep us up to date, on things like, basically you have an eye on who's, and
That's
the
a great
gangs,
idea.
like, how many gangs it is, as it'll be beneficial for the server, and if other gangs are targeting other people, for encounters, that shouldn't fly at all. Absolutely not.
I think that's a good idea.
That's a really good idea. LSPD again, and then the Santa Claus hat in the back.
I was just going to say, I think we need to try and up it out and be more creative with the gang stuff, as lately it's just been drive-bys upon drive-bys upon drive-bys, and it's just, you know, PD get called, we can't do anything, we just have to wait, and it's just getting ridiculous.
Yeah, I wonder. We're gonna see what we can do specifically about that. Again, it all becomes people's imagination, right? It's something we can't control specifically. If we keep putting rules into things like that, it's just gonna keep getting a little bit more boring for people. So that's why we can't be so limited. You know what I'm saying? People just have to honestly use their imagination. Red guy and then Santa Claus hat. I'm sorry, Santa Claus hat. I know he's been waiting. Go ahead.
Right, so basically to touch on the cap of gang members that someone suggested, what I was thinking was have a max cap of 5 on a active scene. Like, say if you roll out with 5 of your boys, don't bring another one, because you know something's gonna happen. You know you're gonna get into crime, and instead of making it so you have to match the numbers, because technically you're not gonna know how many GSF are gonna be on GSF's block. That's why you should introduce the max cap of 5 to a crime scene. Like, if you know something's gonna go down, only bring 5 of your boys, because if you bring more than 5, it's gonna be kind of unfair if you bring like 10 to roll on 3 people. So that's why I think 5's an even number.
But you see, I agree with the 5 rule, right? And this is the only, like, sometimes I think about this so much, and it's like, how can I please everybody? Because at the end of the day, the point of a gang is how much you work on building that brotherhood, right? Because it's all about either brotherhood or, I guess, gangsterness behind it. So it's like, how is it fair if one gang just got to the city 3-4 days ago and they literally have, let's say, 5 people, but then you have another gang that's been building their gang since the beginning of time, and they can't roll up on you with more than 5, right? So then it doesn't become an actual war. It's just become kind of like a set thing. So that's why when I saw that Rico set match numbers to me make a little more sense, because if you have 7 and he has 7, then it's a mutual actual war. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, alright, that's fair enough.
But like when a war starts, do you guys just agree like listen, we're gonna go to war right now? Do you talk with the
basically
opposing
what
side or something?
happens- So what happens is, so like how the Vagos and GSF war started, there was, a lot of talking between one another, each other, like a lot of smack. Some shootouts happened, and we went to our sanctuary. Not say it, just in case there's any meta. We went to our sanctuary, and we talked terms, and those terms, the next day, that's where the war would start.
Okay, so can we maybe include a war limit, like a limit, like let's just say, I don't know, you two groups agree, in this, because people have jobs, IRL intervenes. So let's say you're gonna go on a 3-day war. When you're settled with the enemy leader, you just say at any time, purple's gonna only be having like top, I don't know, 7 people for this specific
Yeah,
war.
so
Does that make sense?
yeah. That's why we have that thing, match numbers and in terms, so it's fair for a side that's down on numbers.
Yeah, but if if you're going into a war and you know that at any point in time during those 3 days of war, there's not gonna be more than 7 purple. You as a green, kind of act accordingly, prepare accordingly, respond accordingly, because you at least know
Oh
like
yeah,
a cap, a limit, and it goes vice versa.
yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm talking so much. So like with
No,
the
it's
gang
okay.
war, say like if Vagos have 20 members on their block, and us GSF members are feeling really feisty, thinking we could win, we'll roll up on their block, not thinking we're gonna take the W, but we're gonna try it anyways. Think that should be like if they're on their block, it's all game for them to use their members, but if it's in a war, match numbers, don't bring all 20 out. I think I just went.
And yeah, and obviously, if you are rolling in a car with 3 people, right, and you roll up on, let's say, purple, and purple has 3 in the car, go ahead and you make your move, like, yo, what up, bitch, boom, and then you start doing your drive-by shit. Like, that's just the most common way to do it. Let me get to Santa Claus guy over there. He's had his hand up for a while, and then Slater.
It's all good, man. So this is like half in, half out of character. I've met most everybody in here, especially the police, as Ron Swanson. I just wanted to touch on a couple things. As far as like the gang thing, I've ran into Vagos, I've ran into GSF, I've ran into all you guys, and you are some of the coolest people I've ever met. And I think, as an admin team, you guys are doing a fantastic job, because the only people I ever had like out of character
Thank you, brother.
problems with are the ones you eliminated. So I just want to say, you're doing an amazing job. I've been in the city for a month and a half. I just wanted to give you props for that. You guys
you
are
so much,
doing
brother.
a solid job. And this, as far as in character, I can swing by Zeus's shop if you'd prefer. I just wanted to possibly talk to you about Slideways. Out of character, I work in a shop, and I think me and my crew could bring something really cool to the city if you gave me the opportunity. But like I said, I'll
DM me
swing by
personally,
you.
please.
Okay,
me
yeah,
personally.
I'll DM
Thank
you.
Sorry to interrupt. Whose fish tank do I keep hearing?
And the last thing is I'm really into racing, cars. I finally got a car fast enough to maybe make some pizza deliveries, But my thing is I've been to different
Stop clapping,
cities.
please.
And the way they handle it is kind of like non-violent, you know what I'm saying? If we're racing and the cops start chasing us and my car gets taken out, I'm not going to pull a gun on the cops, and I would just expect the same, like not to get shot up as soon as my car blows up, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's been a problem here or not, but
Oh, it hasn't been a problem. Actually, the racing scene here, I'm actually very proud of it. It's been very how can I say, I guess I'm gonna say successful. Everybody kind of respect each other to an extent, because some of them can't drive. I'm just playing. But other than
I've
that,
watched
it's
your
been really
body
fun.
cam, I know.
I like the racing scene as a cop. It's what we shut down one earlier, but today a little street race went on. We kind of shut it down, but I think because we haven't actually got much drift on this whole racing scene, so I'm guessing you guys are doing a good job hiding it. But when we finally experience it and find it, it's going to be really fun. Like,
But yeah,
it's gonna be
I'll
fucking cool.
DM you about that, Zeus. But yeah, that's all I want to say is good job, guys. You're doing a hell of a job. I've seen the city grow so much in the past month. It's nuts.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Slater?
Yeah, I have a quick question
And then
about
Thielen.
wearing masks. I'm not very good at making voices. I've tried in my own time, but I've had 2 incidents now. One where I downed a cop and the cop just goes, "Hey Slater."
What's his
and
ID?
then another time, another one, and he goes, "Slater, I know this is you." And it's just like, okay, fuck off, dude. I have a mask on, bro.
Okay, I can make that super clear. No face, no
Clown
case.
fish.
One at a time. One at a
Super
time.
easy.
Use a voice
I know.
changer,
I
you
mean,
can't.
I could, dude. I could get a little savvy on it, but I'm just saying, like, if if you have a mask on, I'm never gonna call you out. Is that kind of, can that be a thing maybe?
So Slater, this is the issue with that, right? We kind of got to get creative with RP specifically. It's to the point where even I have to kind of like mask Zeus's voice when we in robberies, even if I use this one right here or try and get something. I'm not the best with voices either, but if, for example, Buford used to come to a bunch of robberies with the same exact voice and the same exact gimmick, and it's like for the cops, it's not fun. So it's like if you're doing the same thing with the same voice, they're gonna eventually start knowing it's you. And also tattoos, and if they take picture of tattoos, cars, and things like that, those things are gonna come into effect. Right now, I think the cops are very, 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 very lenient with things, but we gotta get creative because it's all about how creative we get and how elaborate the plans are and things of that nature. So try to get a voice changer. I don't know, talk like a girl, but something. You gotta do something
See, Slater,
different.
this is how easy it is, literally.
Yo.
Yeah. Send
Hell.
me an email, Porter, and I'll download something, and it's fine.
Hey
I
guys,
just
this is
realized.
Hey.
Oh my god.
Moving on.
Relax,
Dylan had his hand up, and then we'll go over here.
I'm having a hard
Dylan.
time hearing with all the chatter around here. First of all, I got a question from one of my viewers, but I wanted to make it clear: the black and whites are not a gang. We're motorcycle enthusiasts. Okay. The question that I had, someone asking me, was about fishing. Is it going to be fixed or what's going on? They really want to do it.
Yes, sir. Fishing is gonna be fixed.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hey,
LSPD right here.
Just to add on to Slato, me personally, I love rolling up, seeing Slato in a mask and calling them out on it. I just find it funny. I find like I can connect with the person that I'm RPing with in that point, because I get to joke around with them a little bit, you know, hostage negotiation, talking to them, chit chatting. You know, if we get the you know, we're waiting for more units or AO1. You know, I enjoy it. Like some people, like like Slater said, like. Or you said, Zeus, it might be boring to that, but like me personally, I love it. Like, you know, if you don't want to, like, me to do it, I have no problem with you, like, you know, like, hey, you know, it's not me kind of thing. But on that, like, you know, me personally, I find it hilarious when I run
I
into
think it's
people.
funny when people call me out too. I just, like, after I downed the cop yesterday, he goes, "Hey, it's Slater." And so, like, now I'm like, oh fuck, if he gets resuscitated, like, he's gonna be like, I know it's Slater. You know what I mean? That's all I was worried about.
Yeah, I for that stuff, Slater, like, and to anybody, like, you know, that wants to get to know me a little bit, if I get downed, and I know it's within the rules and everything too, with like don't return to the scene. Me personally, for the most part, if I get downed, I pretend like I was in a coma for that most part, so I just pretend like I don't even know who it was, even if I do know who they were. And I've been told, like, hey, if you get revived or resuscitated, you're good to remember, but that's just me and my, like, you know, 4 years of RPing and stuff like that, and bringing to whatever city I'm in.
All right, we appreciate that. Thank you, guys. I got it. You know, it's all about, at the end of the day, fun. We're gonna go with the vest guy here, and then the blue, yellow guy here. All right, go ahead, vest over there, to the right.
Oh, me?
Yes.
The vest.
Oh, you know, the gangs and stuff that I was thinking, you know, like to enhance gang RP, you might as well like give some gangs some territory, like so, 'cause one of the gangs have the area around, I don't know, the dogs, some of them's got
All right,
groceries and that.
So with that, I'm sorry, just so we can move on, and 1000, I appreciate that, and thank you so much, but we can't give territories, right? Like, if you're gonna get a territory, it's because you're holding that bitch down. I don't want to sit here and give people stuff just because they want to make a gang. You kind of gotta earn it.
No,
like,
no,
I mean,
that's what I mean. Like,
you know.
the gang has to take over that place because loads of the gangs are just sitting at Garage A mainly. Some of them just sit there, so might as well, like, with the gang, just go around one area and actually claim that area. You don't get it, and then obviously when real estate opens and that start buying things, they like buy, I don't know, we save up the money in your gang and buy that thing over there, so it's yours, so you own that place, if you know what I mean. Not just get the stuff.
It all comes down to RP.
Yeah.
Like houses, yeah.
That's
So-
what I mean. So buy
yeah.
the houses, so it's your area. You actually own it. So not saying give it to them; they have to earn it because That way, everyone just makes the gang. You know what I mean? It's just easy to actually work hard and own that area.
I 1000% agree. And as soon as housing comes back, which we are going to hopefully talk about, we will talk. We'll we'll move along with that. Let me just hear Mr. Yellow Guy over here.
All right. Speaking on like the
Oh,
voices.
Buford. Is that
Yeah.
Buford? That's Buford. You
All
don't look
right.
like Buford.
See what I'm saying, though? Like
Think about trying.
even if I try to like the voice, it don't work out too good. And I noticed too, like if I'm taking a hostage and the police recognize and say my name, it kind of I feel like it ruins like the RP, even if I'm in a full mask and new suit or anything. It ruins the RP for the people that I'm robbing a bank with or anything, and because it's like, oh, you were already you already gave up who you are by just talking or something.
Gotcha. I mean,
With
That doesn't
go
hold
ahead,
up in
Porter.
court, though.
with that, with what? Because Buford, I've been around when you've done multiple bank robberies on yourself or with other people, and you've worn exactly the same clothes that you wear in a bank robbery, and then you wear it 5 minutes later on the streets.
Right,
Like,
but you know what?
I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. But the thing is, you need to if as a thing, if everyone looks into Clownfish as a TeamSpeak add-on, it's a free and easy, really easy voice changer if you want to use it. Seriously.
And I have clownfish too, but
Yeah, just use it.
I have troubles with it working and everything. But basically like what I was saying was I was told about that on rob banks, same clothes and everything. I worked on that. Even now, I mean, recently you haven't seen me doing much
Exactly,
crime, but even now it's kind of like
You
it's
sound
kind of like
robotic, Bufy.
all right, hello.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
it's kind of now even when I do decide on do something, soon as I talk, it's like and half the time I have problems with clownfish, but soon as I
So
talk, it's give up. It's like gives up my character.
That comes
try
from
to
the
partner,
RP of the piece.
partner up with Porter. Try the voice changer, because I mean, if you high pitch, anybody can have a voice changer high pitch, and you will definitely not get noticed then. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
at
right.
that point, you're trying your best and you're trying to change it up. So try that, and then let me know how it goes. Let's just try and move along, guys. Again, there's a lot of people here, and there's a lot of topics to touch on. So the guy in the yellow right here that's been waiting. We can't hear you, sir.
Boop, you have to shout.
A little bit about what Ron Swanson said about the car upgrades, the car scene. Can we expect tuning chips, illegal upgrades, possibly another policing aspect for that too?
Yes, sir. So
That would be
illegal
meta.
upgrades tuning.
Can we not answer that question here? I don't see the
Okay.
point.
So
I mean, come on, man.
So yeah,
some things have to be out there for people to discover. You cannot, because I don't like that.
Ask
you
around.
know,
Take a walk.
Yeah, I don't
regardless,
like answering that.
usually also let's just be 100% honest. You probably see it in a person's stream and things of that nature. We want you to come on, man. Like be a little bit more. Try to interact with people and try to figure things out without kind of looking for that information. But just to simplify it, we are working on a lot of things, and things are going to be changed. Just to leave it at that. Okay, one thing that I'm gonna just touch on real quickly is how we handling banning people. So if you're on your first offense, it's gonna be either 24-hour ban, 12-hour ban, 8-hour ban, depending on what was broke or the rule that was broken. But if it's something that has to kind of like be talked among the staff, it's going to be a 24-hour ban. And then you'll hear from us and we'll tell you, hey, it's going to be a perma, or hey, it's just a 24, it's a 3 days, or things of that nature. But it's going to be a specific 24-hour so we can come into a conclusion. All right. Whether it's a group, whether it's one person, two people, it's going to be like that across the board. Cars, car scene, cars overall. We are trying our best I know a lot of people want to see their cars here. I know a lot of people are car enthusiasts, and I know that GTA overall it's 85 to 90% cars. The issue that we're having is that these custom cars make the city lag like a motherfucker. We've upgraded the host to what we can, like almost one of the best, and that still does not help us to function at the level that we want to function. You got to remember this. We have about 77 to 90 people in the city, all almost rolling around in a custom car. Eventually, that's going to give us some issues. People, falling through the bottom of the map, um, red eye, and a whole bunch of other things. We are working closely with the city mechanic to come up with a solution where we have over 300 custom cars. I think we're gonna have to pretty much cut that down to almost 100 and pretty much come into a conclusion of what we could do to make it a better experience for you guys. What does that mean? Most of you guys are probably going to be buying regular PDM cars, or depending on what you own already, we have to see what models work, what models don't work. But just so you know, we are going to be cutting a lot of cars out of the picture. Now comes into open questions about that. Go ahead, guy behind me.
With the red dreads.
With the red dreads.
The suit and tie.
With the suit and tie.
Who, me?
Mr. Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh, in my eyes, I'm white, so I know.
All right, go ahead, Kevin.
I don't know my rank, but I wanted to go back to like the gang colors, what the person said about that. And like how
Really
everyone
quickly.
could be getting shot due to the gang amount. I don't know if it's possible like with the city resources, but like each gang have like their own custom shirt or whatever, something like that. Then
There's plenty of clothing items with colors that you can rep. I think.
Yeah, right
I think
now
we're doing good on clothing.
I think clothing. We did a nice little experiment. Things didn't work. If we cross that path later on where we could get custom stuff, then we'll cross that path when we cross it. I just feel like personally, it's hard when people say they want to do something and then they feel entitled, and I'm just being 100% honest with every single one of you. People want to do stuff for the server, and then that just means that they can break the rules. And with that, we really, we don't want that. So what we have to party with what we have, right? And again, if that is something that we can do in the future, then we'll try. But as of right now, we can't.
JT, can I just weigh in on the cars real quick, please?
Sure.
Sorry, I wanted to do it earlier, but for some reason my TeamSpeak bugged out. Anyways, with regards to all the custom cars being removed, I just want to know, can we then just look at adding more of the PDM vehicles? Because there's a lot of them that are missing from there, not per se the DLC vehicles, but there is a lot of cars that's still not in PDM.
Yeah, so we're gonna do PDM. We're gonna look into the new casino. Yo, there's like so many cars that Rockstar themselves have put into this game that look like, custom cars, and they're pretty dope. They already have the handling and things of that nature that we're gonna look into bringing. Again, we can add PDM cars and then still have custom cars. We have to find a median, right? We have to find a balance, and I think that's gonna be this week and this month's focus. Go ahead, purple guy, and then the guy in the back over there.
What was you talking? What did you mention after the cars? Was anything mentioned?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I just forgot then.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Be careful later.
Yeah,
No
I
problem.
forgot.
Guy in the back.
All right. Just a small, quick question. Are the cell phones notifying texts? Are we working on that? Because it's quite annoying to look at your phone after 3 hours. Somebody just texted you 3 hours ago, and you miss out on an opportunity or something, like in character.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely. I think floss, is that something being looked at already?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So
Thanks for
that's already
clearing
being
that
looked at. No problem, brother. Let me open the floor, purple guy, to somebody that we haven't heard from. LSPD, and then I'll come back to you. LSPD
me?
with the mustache.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, offhand any of the cars that you're thinking about taking out that are like the custom cars?
So first it's gonna be in waves, right? So first we're gonna look at things that look like shit, which means dashboard looks like shit, textures looks like shit, and just handle like ass. We're gonna be eliminating those. Then we're gonna look
Please
at
don't take my
those.
Range Rover.
Then we're gonna look.
I just bought it.
No problem. We're gonna consider everybody that owns a car currently, all right? And that's why we're gonna try not to sell cars within this week or so, and see exactly what we do. But again, things that don't look good, things that don't handle well, and things that have to be redo or whatever the case may be, we'll let you know.
Okay, perfect. And then one other question off of that. So like, say like the Rover that I bought yesterday, say that gets like taken out. Would I get like a tax return on like the money that I spent on the car?
Very good question. That is possible. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Purple here again.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's sort of
Wanna
like
go
what you
back
said. Will like you do something determined on like the cars that have been brought and the cars that aren't being used and shit like that?
Correct.
Yeah, all right.
Guy in the back with the vest. Oh, over there by Abby.
Me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Am I still
Can
laggy?
I go or should he go?
The guy.
Hey, am I laggy or am I good?
You sound good.
Oh, so like regarding the car thing, as I'm sure you already know, like how cars have like polys and stuff. Because I'm just taking experience that I had from like a previous like multiple other cities. What they would do is they would have like if somebody wanted like let's say like a Tesla Model X. Obviously, there's like a few different varies, but they would like go off of how much polys it had because the more polys obviously have more stress on the server, and there's like good cars with good, you know, looking dashboards and interior and exterior that had like low polys. So I don't know if like you guys are like going about it like with that.
I'm sorry. What do you mean by what is exactly polys?
I can talk about that.
Yeah, go ahead. All right.
All right. So
that is
high
our
poly
city
count.
mechanic, by the way.
Hold on, let me put my hands up. Maybe. Okay, it's not working. Anyways, high poly counts. Cars are super detailed, right? So what he's talking about is the detail, like how crisp it is, how good it looks, right? So when you bring in a lower poly count car, the detail might not be as good. The file size is a huge factor with 5M. So any car over a certain size, 5M freaks out. So there are ways that we have to minimize that file size, which it's not hard to do, but we can still bring the car in. But again, he is correct. Polygons are, how can I explain it? If you're looking at a model, there's a bunch of lines going across it, right? Think like a 3D. You're looking at the car in 3D like you are in game, but without the details, without the shell, you just see a bunch of green lines that cover the car. So a high poly count would mean that there are a ton of these little spaces and little squares and triangles that make the body of the car. So the less amount of those little squares and triangles means the less it drags the server down. Plus, with 300 cars running in the server, when you have 64 people that all own custom cars and they're all using them at the same time, it severely drags the server down. So he's talking about bringing in a lower poly car that won't stress the server out as much as a high polygon car. So yeah, I mean it's doable. You just have to find the right one.
Right.
Yeah, because adding on to that, like there's multiple like low poly cars that I've seen that actually looks better than the high poly cars, and it's just all about like looking for like the right thing. But like the other communities that I was previously in before I joined it, because this is my first day flying in, so I'm just trying to give as much insight. But like they would, I don't know how you guys go about importing custom cars, but like let's say how I'm used to it, I make a ticket or whatever, I donate to like the server to support. They give you like one custom car of your choice. You say you want a BMW M4, and like me personally, I would go look on like GTA 5 mods and see the list of cars. I would link them to like exact model, and they would tell me if it met their poly count, and if it didn't, then I was just tough out of luck and I had to look for like a different one. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So this is the thing about that, right? And I'm just gonna be straightforward. We're not doing donations for cars. Reason why we're not doing donations for cars, one, is a lot of work. Two, a lot of people are needy, and I'm just being 100% honest. 3, that means that we have to fit the custom handling to your liking, even though sometimes it's not realistic. And these are all things that we experienced in the past. Therefore, we're not doing that. We're not money hungry. We don't need you to donate us to be able to get the car of your dreams. You can just play your ass off, which we probably gonna be nerfing the trucking jobs. Those of you who love doing the trucking job to be a millionaire, and we're gonna make it so you guys actually grind for what you want. And that's the way to get the car of your dreams or the car of your choice. So will we be taking requests after what we do with the cars? Yes, but I want it to be quality, right? So for example, look at the biggest city out there, which is No Pixel. They have certain custom cars, but you don't see the entire city flooded with custom cars like we have. And that's why their city runs very smooth. That's why their city runs pretty good, right? So I think that's the direction where I want to take this server. I want it to be rare to have certain cars like a GTI wide body and things of that nature, and that you have to offer a person, almost somebody peeing. You have to offer somebody $300-400.
I couldn't hold it in, man. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. That you have to offer somebody a lot of money or whatever the case may be to get that rare car and make it grindy. Make it that you want to get on tomorrow morning to be able to grind to get that car of your dreams. So to be that special guy that has this certain thing. Because if it's not about that and the stories and the RP, then what are we doing here, right?
You know how I assume the big city out there does it? Is by having a GTA wise guy and maybe a couple of other 2 guys with him that help him. And then it literally takes, whoever wants a custom or an import, that shit's like hundreds of thousands. And, adjusted to the economy, if they work well together, it should take you a while to, grind that money for that guy. And it also is going to take like a month or so for the guy to actually make your car, custom.
Right. So we'll be looking into something like that possibly. We
Chaotic,
first have to see what we do.
Shit?
What's that?
Do you do custom liveries and paint jobs and shit like that?
Yeah, I mean, I can do the liveries, yeah.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't have to do liveries because I think he does enough already with what he does with the cars. I think we have to focus on how the car runs first rather than how it looks, because I feel that hey, whoever's washing their hands, please mute yourself. Because we're gonna figure out who's doing that, and we're gonna kick you. Because I feel like, again, we want a good chase experience. We want a good drive-by experience. We want, not fucking be hopping around every 2 seconds every time somebody's driving us around. And you guys know exactly what I mean. So that's gonna be the main focus, and then we move into requests and what people want and how we can process that. All right, Abby.
Okay, so I'm just wondering if we're gonna do this, right? I, for example, don't have a lot of cars, but I have them since we started, which was like very long ago. And even those that are new that might have a few cars already, should they, like, I don't know, keep a record of what they have, that when it, gets taken away or whatever, so that they can open a ticket?
Yes.
Or
So
okay,
that's the first thing sorry to interrupt you. That's the first thing I'm going to ask everybody, to keep a record of what they have so far, just in case we can't get it from our database. And then like that, we know exactly how to move forward. Again, we don't know specifically what we're going to do yet, but it is something that you're going to see throughout the weeks. And if we do come up to you, or if we do put it on the Discord, these cars are going to be taken out, such and such, and you see that this is one of your cars, just keep it in record. Don't start DMing crazy or whatever the case may be, because we'll probably we'll touch on that topic either in the next meeting or throughout the week. We'll figure some sort of system, okay?
Okay, yeah, I was just about to ask if there's going to be like an announcement or a warning on the Discord, being like, you have a week or you have 2 days to keep a record. This is what we're taking out. If you have one, collect your data or whatever to get a compensation, whatever is going to happen.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much.
Okay,
So let me see. Anybody has any other questions
Yeah,
about
the red
cars?
suit over there.
All right, go ahead.
Touching on the side of the economy, as being a criminal in the city and being involved in the criminal underworld, I don't like just in my opinion, and a few of the boys have noticed it, I don't think drugs get enough recognition as they should. Like, like being involved with a bunch of the gangs and how they operate and stuff, I don't see enough drugs like hitting the streets and stuff like that. All I see is mainly guns, and I'd like to see drugs get more lights shown towards them, just simply because a lot of people are asking for more whitelisted jobs and stuff like that, and I think that would help civs get into different RP.
Just to touch the drugs, you said you don't see enough drugs in the city.
Yeah, like I don't see
Okay,
anyone like
so
selling on the block.
that alone is a great thing because in real life you don't see people selling drugs in front of you. So I
True,
think
true.
that automatically is amazing. And thank you everybody who's doing drugs. And I'm not gonna meta and say, but that is something that you have to get interaction for. Like, you know what I'm saying? There is drugs. The drugs do have a specific power, and they are supplied by certain people. So like, I mean, if the guns is a little bit more, it's maybe because a lot of people like to flash them, but drugs is definitely something that's out there. You just kind of got to find it. And we're going to be adding more things. Again, I like the fact that drugs have an actual purpose to them, just not that you do it and then, that's it. So ask around and you'll be able to find that type of thing.
I can tell you from a police perspective, we get a lot of drugs every day.
Yeah. This guy with the white?
Yo, so you were talking about how you wanted to be like you wanted to have police chases like be actually fun and stuff, but
yeah,
I've heard like multiple circumstances where a police officer wants to take away someone's car for like real life days because they're unable to catch them. And don't you think that disincentivizes people from even buying fast cars if they can't even use them?
I 1000% understand that, and I agree. The problem is, and I see this from both perspectives because I do have a cop character also. If you're trying to chase an Audi R8, which we all know right now is super broken, those of you who own it, and the guy's literally being an asshole just trying to copy for the past hour, and then we finally catch this person's probably going to get a 3-day IRL of that car being impounded because it's kind of annoying. The cop cars are not that fast. All the cop cars have been worked to where they're realistic, I guess you can say. So right now we have some cars that haven't been worked on, which comes into the issues of why we're doing this car discussion. You know what I mean? So it's not. Sometimes I'm really sorry. I 1000% apologize if it happened to you. But it sometimes it frustrates the cop to the point where it's like, damn, like we want some sort of RP, just not somebody just because they like the thrill of being chased, every single 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, you're
that
not
be the
always
case.
gonna catch people in real life either.
Oh no, 1000%.
Yeah, but they got your license plate.
Yeah.
So they could just tag it or whatever, call it out. Now you get
Oh
your
yeah,
ship
speaking
towed.
of license
So
plate. Good
I
one.
don't.
Lenny, just a quick second.
Yeah.
There's vehicles in there without license plates. And that's a bit sketchy for the cops to handle.
Well,
I just say you shouldn't do heists in your own car.
Yeah,
You have to
that should
understand
be common
that
sense.
there are going to be elements that are going to be out of your control at some point. Because if you want it to be fun, it can't just be fun for you.
I feel.
You mean as for the cops specifically?
Yeah.
I know, and that's 1000% understandable. But you like where I see. Okay, so for example, right now we can't take plates off the cars, right? Until we make fake plates, then that can be a thing as of right now. So what people do is like they take really custom personal cars that go really fast and they get in a chase. Now, you're saying that it has to be fun for us too, right? But then where is the fairness when you get a car that's going over 200 plus to do a bank job? You know what I mean? You know you're gonna get away. The cops can't keep up. So that's where the issue is. People that don't know that balance, because some of them just want win, 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 win. You know what I mean?
So, are we supposed to sometimes just let ourselves get caught or what?
Not let
No, be
yourself
creative,
get caught,
man.
but be creative.
Yeah,
you
I
know
say
what I
be
mean?
more
You can
fair,
boost
you
a
know?
local car and get it tuned, and then now you got something that's better than, I mean, still a cop car sometimes, right?
There's probably 50 jumps
Yeah, but part
just
of
in the
being a
city
criminal
alone.
is about
Right, there's a bunch of, and
not
how well
caring
can you
about
drive?
fairness. I understand like the
But the
RP
thing,
aspect,
right. The thing is, with being a criminal, you can't always expect a win. Like us cops, like every single cop here, I can tell you, I guarantee you now, we lose on a daily basis.
90% of the stuff we do is in L, man. Like,
I genuinely don't care if I
understand
crash. I'm like, oh, that was sick. I don't
but
care.
after a 20-minute negotiation at a bank job, if
And
you
then a
get in your
200-mile-an-hour
car,
car.
and you just press W and you're gone in like 200 feet, that's
Sorry.
like, well, fuck me, man. Why am I still here following, a dozen fucking rules to be a cop for what? I can't even
You
get
signed
the
up for the
chase, you
job.
know.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's no RP, and we're here for creative RP. But then the thing is, you're going to be going in a Porsche, a purple Porsche. Remember, nightmares. That just goes 250 miles an hour in like 2 seconds and it's gone. That's not RP. It's boring. You're literally there for the win, and I personally don't like seeing that.
Okay, well then you have to, not you specifically, but there has to be some sort of balance then, because you're not gonna have criminals get in a car where they're gonna 100% get caught. Like, what's the point of that? And but you also, I understand you don't want someone instantly gone and there was no like cop chase at all.
All right, so this then comes to the point where you have to be creative for what you do. For example, like grab a car, park two bikes somewhere, you drive over there. Then, like, have you? Okay, it's
Bro,
kind of
there's a
touchy
Sultan
because
that's
there's
been
yeah.
like losing us for the past 2 days in the city. Every cop here can confirm.
Ricardo.
Can I
It's
add
a fucking
something?
Sultan, bro.
Can I add
You
something
take one of
real
those
quick?
pills.
Yeah.
I can see
Think
it.
about it from like a content standpoint, you know, like
Take
if
two,
a cop
no
is
balls.
sitting there for fucking 30 minutes
Do it, no
waiting for
balls.
you negotiating at the bank and you just fucking speed off and there's no interaction after that at all, you're like wasting other people's time. And I'm not just saying just for a content, like everybody wants to have a like fairness type of thing where it's like both sides have an equal opportunity of winning and losing, you know.
It's the chase, basically.
Well,
Like-
okay,
when it-
I
when it-
understand that, right?
Go on, sorry.
I understand wanting. I just don't think the solution is to just take someone's car away.
But they're not.
We're not.
They're not,
It's a,
if it's impound.
It's a virtual impound for 3 days. So think about it like this: you're a criminal in real life, and you're speeding away, and the cops catch you. So you're on live PD, right? And the cops catch you. What happens to your car? They impound
Hashtag
it.
impounded.
Yeah,
It
but that's
gets
because you
impounded.
got
While
caught,
you're
though.
in jail, it accrues fees, correct, for storage, right? So think about it in a real life aspect. So, like, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I see the other side too. So it's not that they're taking the car away from you; it's like a virtual impound. So you just don't have access to that car
Can
for
someone
3
shut
days.
the water off though?
Hey, someone keeps fucking messing with that water. It's pissed me off.
Yeah, can somebody
I
check
don't hear
TeamSpeak
it.
and then get them out of here, please?
But yeah, I understand what you're saying, dog. Like, I understand both sides, and I don't know. I think it's more of a case by case basis on how it should be controlled. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, it goes back to the cars. Like, people know which cars haven't been worked and which ones are broken still. So the RS8 does an ungodly speed, right? So I haven't been able to work on those. There's 11 hours.
You're not the slapped and dick
that I
phase
have
yet.
to work.
Yeah, and that brings up
You know-
another thing though. Like, if you're going to
You're on like
nerf
you're like
cars,
knocking on
which is
hell's door.
fine, you have to like adjust the prices so that they're worth. Because there are certain cars that are way more expensive than what they should actually be worth compared to everything else in the game.
Right, but think about it like this too. And then this goes back to what JT, and then we're talking about no pixel. So their import cars, they probably have what, maybe 6, 7, 10 imports total. So their prices aren't as high
you
as
called
ours, I
in?
don't think. I haven't watched no pixel for a while because it's kind of boring. But so for us to do a high price on a car, it's more about leveling the economy. So if you have $400,000 to buy a car, you have too much money. You know what I mean? Like it's
But what do you mean you have too much money?
you have too much money. I mean, what's that? What don't you understand about that? So, like, you're grinding for all the money to get the car, right? So you buy this $400,000 car. You know, say it's just an R35 or something off the top of my head. That in real life, you know, a GTR costs like a base model like 140 grand, right? So for us to inflate the price, it's to level out the economy. So we're going to make you almost drain your bank account to where you have to work to get that money back, right? So it's more about draining and keeping the economy balanced. While there are
Okay, yeah, I
portions of
understand that.
yeah, so it's more like I understand where you're coming from. I'm not trying to disagree or sound like
Yeah, I
I'm
get
disagreeing
you.
because I'm not. It's about keeping the economy level. Like there's people in the city that only use PDM cars. They won't buy custom cars because maybe it doesn't fit their character, you know, or you know their lifestyle. So and that's great. You know, PDM cars are really limited to what their speeds can do. I mean, even the Supras are limited to 118, 120 miles an hour, which doesn't make any sense, but that's how it is. So for us to inflate the price, it's more about leveling the economy. That's its main point in having such a high price tag. That and the fact that we're trying to, like, JT tries to play it off that he's importing the car from, say, like overseas, right? Even though it's an American version, right? He's importing it, so it takes time for the car to come in. So there's always, taxes you have to pay, permits you have to buy, shipping costs. So that's kind of all factored into those prices as well. That's why they're so high.
All right, dude. I get what you're saying. I agree.
All right. So just to finish answering everything you got to say, again, I see exactly where you're coming from. At the end of the day, there has to be a balance between, um, being a criminal and getting away, and then being yo, that water. Please, somebody in TeamSpeak, get them out, please. There has to be a balance between that cop and that criminal, because at the end of the day, you want to have fun with that. But yet, then we ask people to be creative and not to keep touching on this topic. Um, Honestly speaking, it's more about the story rather than just pressing W and getting away. That's for me. For others, it might be different, but also understand that we want to create an amazing moment for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Cora, and then we go on the left side. Cora, go ahead. Oh, and the guy in the center.
Yeah, this is about the whole cops versus crims thing. To sit there and be like to someone who's playing a cop character and be like, oh well, you chose that job. Well, guess what? You chose to be a criminal, and a criminal isn't going to win 110% of the time. The difference is they don't have a bunch of rules like the police do in order to remain being an officer. And so I don't know. I just don't think it's fair to have that kind of mentality. It's, oh well, they chose to be a cop, so this is what they were in for. Like, that's just not a fair mindset, in my opinion. If you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying. And like I said, it's really easy for criminals to win, and when they lose, like when PD wins, they have that, like, yeah, sure, they won the scenario. Cool, awesome, right on, yay! But now they got to put up with being, RP destroyed, which I get is an RP, but when it's over and over again, and it's kind of like, after a while, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes. So I 1000% agree with Cora saying. Again, PD has restrictions because at the end of the day, their job is to protect and serve, right? So sometimes, you have to see it from their side. They have certain rules, like, they can't be boggles shooting out of cars to a criminal and things of that nature. They got to wait for you to shoot for them to shoot. So again, you have to also understand where they're coming from. Guy in the Santa Claus hat, and then I'll come to the front.
Yeah, I just had a quick couple things. First thing I wanted to, am I the only person that has problems with repair kits? Like the
No,
advanced repair
This
kits?
initially just been addressed.
everybody. Yep.
Okay. Second, I just wanted to give my perspective on the whole criminal versus cop thing. Like when me and my crew go to do a job, like rob the jewelry store or a bank or whatever, I don't take my AMG Mercedes that can do over 200 miles an hour, I ditch that, go cap a local, steal their car to make it interesting, And if I'm ripping through a canyon and I flip my car onto my roof, I don't sit there and hold A and flip the car back over. I bail on foot, I try to make it interesting for the cops also, even though I could probably get away every time, but I don't. I think that's, I just
More to
wanted to
stop
give
it,
my
stop it.
perspective and maybe, like the guy with the Audi, why he was not understanding.
And we appreciate that 1000%. Again, it's about the story, right? Is it what sounds better? You get out of a robbery and then you just press W, you get away, that's it. Or
Yeah, that's
I
boring,
got out of,
you
I got
know?
out of, yeah, I got out of a robbery. After the robbery, we went to the airport, did a few laps in the airport. Then we got into a helicopter chase with the police helicopter. We went through bridges. Then we jumped in the water. Like, that sounds more elaborate, right? And that's
Exactly.
hopefully what everybody wants to try and do, because like that, trust me, it's way more satisfying. I'm gonna go here on this side, and then I'm gonna go to the other side. Let's try and get to everybody. Guy in the black sweater.
Oh, me, yeah. Hey, so I'm new here, but I've been watching a lot of
Welcome.
RP. Thank you. I've been watching a lot of RP, and what people do is actually plan the heist. They don't just go into it using their GTR or anything like that. They actually, like the Santa Claus guy said, they steal a civilian's car and use that and plan escapes and stuff like that. It takes time, you know. So you gotta plan accordingly. So yeah, and usually those cars are used for racing anyways. And if you get caught, you know, you could get away. But most of the time, you know, why are you using your fast cars for bank robberies?
Correct. And just to add on to that, also, I know that sometimes when you go into a robbery, you see that stupid cooldown message in which police try to restrain from saying there's not enough cops on, or oh, it's a cooldown. Um, the reason why those things are in place is not to drive the cops crazy and to give you time to go ahead and plan your escape. It takes 30 to 40 minutes to pretty much plan everything that you're going to do. So take that time to do that. If you go to the place and it still says cool down, you know, take a step back, wait for it to become available, and then go ahead and do it. But take that time to prepare. We are trying our best to see how we can accommodate everybody. Again, the more cops start coming in and they get out of that cadet phase, the more that we're going to be able to have to rob. But again, nothing is, you know, this thing is not all about robbing. You know, gamble, do dice rolls, in which we should make better. We're gonna make better. We're gonna add an animation to that. And I don't know, scam people. There's a lot of things you can do. Guy with the vest.
You know, obviously about the cops and robbers thing. The bank guys, obviously get sometimes you're gonna lose and win, but you know when there's like a bank robbery with the cops, let's say if someone's got a fast car, I would want to see like the police with a helicopter up in the sky when there's a chase, they're just following it. You know what I mean? In real life, if there's
Bro,
a
we have
bank,
that.
it's
We have
just
that.
you know all the cops are there. Like when like when the chase starts, the helicopter. Sorry, sorry
Damn,
about
you
that.
missed.
When there's a chase, that the whole helicopters up in the skies chasing the vehicles, you know what I mean? Make
Yeah.
actually fun. Just
And
get that kick in.
We have that. We do that.
And to answer that really quickly, again, to move along, and I 1000% appreciate it. We do have that. We have helicopters. We actually even have helicopters that have ropes and you can climb down of it. We have helicopters with thermal. The issue is that we have a very strict policy with people that could be cops because it's a whitelisted job, right? So the thing is, we put our cadets through some sort of training because at the end of the day, you cannot be just somebody that comes into the city, then you become a cop, and then the cop is able to fly a helicopter. That is super unrealistic, so we don't do it that way. So the way that it is, once you get out of your cadet phase, then you have to go into more training, and then after that, you have to get your, helicopters certified, Air One certified, and then you can do that. So the reason why you don't see Air One a lot is maybe because that is the issue, or because of the amount of cops that are on the city at the specific time.
Yeah, that's fine. That makes sense. Yeah, I totally agree because you know it makes it fun for us as well. Like I've spent around 4 hours in jail, and because obviously I don't really care about winning. It's all about having fun, really. You do something, you get caught. So you know.
Gotcha, brother. Thank you so much. Guy in the sweater.
Yeah, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. I'm new here, and I want to thank you guys for all being like so open, like even with like your tight knit groups of friends, allowing like newer people to come in and chit chat with you. Because my last city, there was a lot of like tight knit groups, and everybody would just basically tell you to go fuck yourself, like. And I'm just glad you guys are so nice and welcoming.
Thank you, brother. We really appreciate that. And just to add on to that, this is RP is all about interaction. I think of RP as interaction and getting to know people's personality outside of this world, right? And that's all we want. Sometimes if you see us that we're a little just like, oh God, we're tired, whatever the case may be, is because we're trying to make it better for you guys. But never get discouraged to talk to me, talk to any other staffs. We're more than welcoming, and we love hearing feedback and things from you guys. So please don't stop, and please keep interacting and keep it going, and be creative. That's all we ask for, because it's gonna bring everybody's fun and level of excitement to a whole another level. Guy in the LSPD.
Just a quick second, just to put it into perspective. We're closing in on 1,500 members in the community, and it's less than 10 of us, and staff. That includes owners and everybody. So just kind of to put it into perspective.
Yeah, that sometimes it can get a little crazy. All right,
You guys are doing great.
NYPD guy. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
To just touch base on some of those questions, like sweater guy over there, Christmas guy in the back, with the with the custom cars, using them on bank jobs, I'm gonna go back with somebody that said like, hey, if we take your car away for you from like a day or two, I mean, first off, who's gonna use the custom cars with your license plate, where we can just be like, okay, well, we have your license plate. If you get away from us, we can just find you again. Yes, you can put it in the garage, but you will have to bring it out eventually. We do use our Bolo and Warn system, so a lot of the times, yes, we don't see those custom cars on bank robberies. One, because of that reason. Two, sweater guy, like, I'm gonna just add on to yours. I've been here for about 3 weeks now. One of the best cities I've been in by far.
Thank you.
For whitelisted. You know, all the cops that I've worked with, Porto, Bishop, Gambetti when he was still around as an officer. Love them all. I've been doing LEO cop work for 4 years since I've started RPing. And I give a huge shout out to all the crims too. Personally, me, I'm more of a cop side of person, so you know, crim stuff gets a little boring for me after a while. So the guys that can keep it going, I applaud you. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a job.
Thank you, brother. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Over here to my right, somebody.
Yeah.
Guy in the
Guy in the
denim.
jean jacket.
Yep.
Yeah, so I got two things. So, the first one, with the guy over there saying like he's new, I do want to agree with him saying that like people have been like really open with like letting other people in on the RP and stuff like that, which is like really appreciated to new people. And second, I personally you know, like the fact that if you're using like your own custom fast car, your own car in general that's like fast as hell, that you have a chance of, you know, it getting taken from you for a long period of time, because you know, without having like a loss or reward for like something that you're doing illegally, it kind of, you know, makes it OP if there's no like negative that could happen, you know.
That's exactly why, you know, cops don't just take out a helicopter for a Sultan or a Mustang, you know, to counter it. That's, you know, everything is supposed to, in theory, on paper, is supposed to balance each other in the city. So,
all right.
Hopefully, we get a good.
And just to keep it moving, go ahead, best guy.
Yeah, just to like say, the guy said obviously keep it even on both sides. Like yesterday, I did a robbery. I got an Audi out for the rent. Like instead of using a fast car, so it's actually fun. You don't want to just get the money and get away with it. So like make it actually fun for the police and like the robbers as well.
1000% agree.
I
Thank
always
you
rent
so much.
Audis. I think renting Audis is one of the best things you can do.
Yeah, I ran out
so
of
much
fuel
fun.
and got caught yesterday.
We
Those things are
appreciate that.
fast.
Yeah.
And with that
Oh, yeah.
being said, sorry to interrupt you guys. With that being said, we're gonna open up the floor just to feedback, unless any staff has anything else to say. Staff, Bishop, anything?
I don't know. I'm good, man. I don't know.
I think that we touched upon, and this was actually very proactive. We touched on things that
should
we
touch
needed
my
to get
butt.
out of.
What?
Hey, yo. But if anybody has any questions about anything, this would be the right time to ask. Or if you have any feedback, this would be the right time to ask. With the hand up, obviously. Mr. Feeling.
Can you guys stop, please? All of you now. Or you'll be kicked.
What?
Yeah, I first of all, I want to acknowledge you guys for a fucking awesome job you do, man. I really am
thank you.
happy with what you do and how hard you guys work.
Thank you, brother. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
Situation, the real estate situation.
Oh, yes.
How's that progressing?
So this is the thing, and again, I'm just gonna tell you guys specifically. Again, just like Bishop said, we have a 10-man staff, right? And unfortunately, the only person right now that can use that real estate script is the other owner. And as you know, the other owner is our only deaf at the moment, also. So if you see the number right now, it's 92 people in the city, and he is pretty much taking half of the requests that we need to get done. And yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say. Like, he's the only one with the power for the real estate. The real estate, we just have to fix a couple of things so we can give it out as a job. Once we give it out as a job, whoever gets hired, which is going to be very hard to get hired as a real estate, because that's going to be a high-paying job, whitelisted, and we're going to have kind of like a process for people to get that job. Once that's going, man, it's going to be fucking amazing. And those of you who are spending money on cars, you better be careful, because if you keep spending your money on car and all you have is $20,000, you won't be able to afford these great houses.
Oh
that
yeah,
are gonna
house is
come in.
gonna be expensive because it's a fucking house. You're not supposed to
Yeah.
join the city and buy a fucking $1 million home in a week, like under no
I
circumstance.
mean, if you're spending 400,000 on a car, like 2 million starting.
I mean,
It happens, trust me, and I know firsthand. So just know that houses, any big houses you want up in the hills, that's gonna be almost 1 to 2 million, 3 million, and they're gonna be doing background checks on credit and things like that if you're gonna do finance. So that criminal record that you have, we do have a public record in PD. You better check it out, because if it's long, you won't be able to have a house. You're probably gonna have to go to Grove Street and get something small. So keep that in mind, all right?
What? Come on, dude.
Unless you
Keep
pay
that in
cash.
mind. Unless you
Stop
pay
breaking the
cash.
law.
Right.
With that being said, Kev, right? Kevin? Hello?
Me?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I had a question. So you said about the white. Hold on, does my mic sound good?
Your mic sounds kind of a little bad.
Yeah.
Lean into it.
Way where they walk. All right. So, about that application process, you said there's gonna be a whitelisting thing. Would the people that donate and get the application bypassed, would else they'll get that if they wanted to do real estate?
That'll be announced if that's gonna be a thing, sir. Yes.
All right.
No problem. Anybody else? Feedback, question? All right, Purple?
Can I have some money?
No. Anybody else? Questions, feedback? All right, guy in that sweater?
Can I borrow your GTR for a week?
Negative.
Okay, I got one for the upcoming gangs.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you guys forming and everything like that, and I do appreciate everything you guys doing in the South Side. I've been one of the active South Side since I fucking joined this place. I'm really appreciative of it. With Rico and bringing GSF, I'm really proud of that. Obviously, the Purple Boys here and the guys in black and red. I don't even know what the fuck you are, but it's really good to see you guys and actually having a bit of gang going. Bit of gang shit.
Shit, I appreciate that.
Because what happens is it gives the
appreciate
police
it, mate.
and us something to
Wow.
do, and it actually brings a lot of shit towards cops. Because at the minute we're just literally pulling over mopeds.
All right,
So-
and to add on to that, Porter, but for the cops, I just want to say this specifically. Sometimes you could get a night that, it's not that busy and things of that nature, and you want to go down to the barrio and check on these guys or whatever the case may be. If you're by yourself in El Barrio and you get fucking gunned down, understand why that's happening. You have to make sure that you go in there with caution, because we have to put a set of respect into the hood, right?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end of the day, in real life, as a cop, you're not gonna go into the hood just talking shit, because bad
Yeah.
things can happen.
But
So
we-
okay,
please
can
keep
we
that in mind.
balance that though with the gangs not being a garage half the day? Maybe, because that doesn't make sense.
True.
Just like
They're supposed to be at where the gang is supposed to be. Where
yeah,
your
I
gang
see
is
green,
supposed to be.
purple, yellow doing that shit.
And
So
another
follow
thing-
their example, whoever
Another thing
is
to
a
add on
gang.
to that as well is we've actually directly put in to one of our SOPs. Well, I'm going to see if it isn't in there to actually put down that one cop is not allowed to go down the south side on his own. Because I know firsthand from I think yesterday that it is a dangerous place. I fucking made that mistake, and then obviously it's going to be implemented because we want to put that respect back on you guys, and then obviously we want respect back. But obviously, it is what it is. It is RP. So.
All right, guy here in that SPD.
Oh yeah, I know you're saying like we're gonna give like a certain level of respect to the hood, like we're gonna treat it. Obviously realistic. Like you go into a bad side of town looking for trouble, things aren't gonna end well for you. If we're gonna look at it like that, like can't we also we kind of have to look at the same thing with like the whole SOS situation?
Yeah.
Like an SOS motorcycle club, they're not gonna be nice, friendly guys. They're gonna be mean bastards. So I feel like again going back to that whole thing from earlier, those guys, to them, I feel like they were just playing their characters the way that a typical motorcycle gang member would act, if that makes sense.
I mean, again, it's a sticky situation, and
To an extent.
it's to an extent. I personally never seen people that can be that cruel in real life. I
have.
mean, I've seen gangsters, and I live in the hood myself, and even the meanest of people don't ever treat
Still
people
have a
like
heart.
that just because they have a problem. And I understand where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, if
you're a badass and you have power, a lot of people don't show that. You have to be low key about it, especially if you have guns and you have illegal things. You're just not gonna flaunt your power just because the cops are not gonna stop you, because at the end of the day, there weren't a lot of cops on or whatever the case may be.
Right. Yeah.
There's a
At the
balance to
time, we
everything.
were all we were down from a previous incident at the hospital.
Right. So there's a balance to everything. And again, I'm not here to badmouth anybody. Like I told
he
you,
commentating?
I have respect for those guys. I'm still not sitting here. Other server owners would have sat here and trashed people. I don't need to do that because I put respect in their name. Every single one of them have a great RP. The Thor, we put his videos up in the loading screen. It's just, again, we as a community, in my opinion, we're not ready for that type of
That
RP.
specific type of RP.
Yeah, go ahead. LSPD.
I just still have my hands up. I didn't realize
okay.
I still had my hand up. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Slater, and then we go to the best guy.
Hey, so yesterday when a couple of us were doing a yacht, it said there wasn't enough cops on, and there was like 5 cops on. Do you know if it just says that? Does that mean it's out of money, or how does that work? Just because I want to learn it, so that way I don't have to ask you later.
So when it says the vault is closed,
Yeah, that's what it
there's not enough personnel, something like that. There's not enough cops. Well, I thought that the script was broken, but it wasn't. Everything was fine. It was just that there were 3 there.
Okay, so it needs 4, correct?
Yeah.
Find out in RP.
Yeah, find out in RP. Best guy?
Like if you maybe think of some events or something to go on around the server. For example, if you plan something out, are we allowed to like message his staff member and ask him to like, for
There's
example,
an RP event.
We might need them to spawn in something for the event, like for example, if you wanna have a little race around the docks or something, just ask him for help for spawning, let's say little go-karts or bikes.
Yes, we are
Just
for that.
kind of
100%.
organize it as an event,
Yeah.
Don't just come saying like a phrase, a sentence. Yo, I want to do a race. Can I get 20 caddies? Show a little commitment to it, and make sure you're doing this to get other members of the community involved, not for you or for your own
obviously
gain.
you have to advertise and everything. Yeah.
Make a
We
ticket,
might
draft up
make
a
a
plan.
ticket, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Spike, just send it in there, and
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah,
That's fine.
we can go from there.
Right, white jacket.
Yeah, in terms of the casino being removed, was that because of like a definitive exploit or
So it was not because of the definitive exploit. And again, in front of everybody, I apologize if I said that you were making too much money from this or whatever the case may be. What I was trying to get across was that at the end of the day, the casino was a line of code, and a line of code is not like in real life. We don't, there's conspiracies that casinos in real life have their own way of doing it. But here specifically is computerized, and it has a certain amount of odds, and it has a certain amount of pattern. Code is all about pattern. If you don't tell the code to do something, the code won't do it. You know what I mean? So once you find how the code works or how the pattern is, not saying that some of you have, but there is a way that you can potentially make a lot of money in the casino. So that's why the casino was disabled till we find a better way to distribute those luck and odds.
There is a thing I think that's been in place. If the casino does come back, that's actually going to control the amount of money that gets pumped into it. So,
I mean, you could also just implement like a daily limit of how much you can make.
yeah, that's one of the
Right.
things that's going to get implemented, I think.
Because I probably lost like $1 million there.
Oh,
No, you haven't. Oh my
I dropped
God, you're terrible.
150k on one thing.
Bro,
I
for
fucking
sure.
lost it. I didn't
I
care.
watched Porter put 150k down and lose it.
It's funny.
Anyways,
Okay.
all right. Any questions? Anything else, guys? Anything whatsoever?
I think we're good.
All
Over
right,
here.
everybody, go.
Awesome.
Where? Okay, go
Over here to my left.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, I appreciate you guys, giving us the opportunity to get our thoughts out there to you, and I think we got a good thing going on here as far as everybody being able to communicate things openly together and work on things together, and we've got a really bright future here together.
Yeah, love you, brother. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it,
man.
man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Give it fucking 10 minutes before we resume anything.
Hold on. I got something. I've got a one-of-one
God.
Plymouth Cuda.
Oh
400k.
my God.
You
Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Take care.
Oh, careful with Pinky. Careful with Pinky.
To the Emperor. I want this.
Hold on. Let's go away, Pinky. Let's go away.
Right.
Oh, damn.
What you walk